regardless of what the opposition does. So I just think that anything in Seattle in general makes a big statement.
Hey there, malcontents. I'll explain what's going on in a minute. It's the first speaker.
So I think it's important that we all come out and show them that they don't. Like Michelle said, we have extra signs. We have a raffle going on. The big wooden flag was made by Michael and Michelle. That is part of the raffle, some t-shirts and stuff like that. We have a couple other people who will be speaking a little bit later on. I will be speaking again later on. And yeah, we're just gonna have a good time, show our support, and yeah. Okay.
Yeah!
You'll have to excuse me here for malcontents because they just started.
So we have never done this before on a sound system or anything, so please forgive if we seem to not have a whole lot to say. So again, we have the raffle if you guys would like to take part in that. The proceeds from that will go right back into our police force. Again, we are just community members who have gotten together who want to make sure that our police are supported and that our voice is heard, because I think that a lot of what we're seeing and hearing on the media is the other side, and they have every right to be able to protest, but what they cannot do is riot and destroy our cities. So we are here to let people know that without our police, without those law enforcement officers, and there my phone is ringing, we cannot have law and order. And that they are getting away with things that aren't okay in our city and that we're not okay with it. That we have a First Amendment right of freedom of speech, and that is perfectly fine, but when it goes past freedom of speech to destroying our businesses, throwing rocks, water bottles, screaming in the faces of our officers, hitting them with bats, we're not okay with that. And sometimes we don't always know what we can do as the public. Sometimes I know that before this I thought, I'm just one person. How can I make a difference? Well, this is how we can make a difference. Getting like-minded people together and being a louder voice for those who cannot speak right now. Do you guys know that our police officers and law enforcement pretty much have no freedom of speech? That they have to abide by what the cities and their sheriff's departments and the state patrol say they can and cannot say while wearing that uniform. And that is because they need to be an unbiased opinion, because they're not out there saying, I'm gonna choose what person I save. They get a phone call to 911. 911, what's your emergency? I have an emergency. They don't sit there and wonder if that person is male or female, what religion they are, what color they are, whether they're rich or they're poor. You know what they do? They get in their squad car. They say, I got this, I'm on my way. And they go in there and they defend the defendless. And that's why we are here, because they've been able to take that away from them. And so many times, if the other side would just be quiet for a little bit, they'd be able to see that we all want the same thing. We want everybody to matter. We want human life to matter. And that is what matters, is human life. We are one race, the human race. It doesn't matter where you've come from. It doesn't matter what color skin you are. It doesn't matter what religion, what sexual orientation you are. It doesn't matter if you live in Seattle, if you live in Washington, D.C.,
Again,
New York,
Tennessee,
I know
we just rolled it. I will get into where we're at and what's going on.
We are here to stand strong for other human life, and that's what matters. And so we need to be a voice for those who cannot speak right now. And I thank you again for everyone being out here and supporting us. You can go to Back the Blue Washington on Facebook and join the Facebook group that has like-minded individuals. That is also where you will find event information.
We also have a sign-up sheet if you'd like to put your name and email address on there. As we go through this fun process of becoming a nonprofit, you will get updates on how that is going and what we are doing to support our communities and our law enforcement and our heroes. And the wind is taking everything everywhere. You can also follow Peninsula LEO Support and Events. That is another group that is over on the Kitsap Peninsula, Olympic Peninsula area. We just had a huge family event where we did a thing for kids. We had a dunk tank. We had the bomb squad out there with the bomb robot. We had Washington State Patrol, we had Fish and Wildlife out there as well with their boat and their ATV. We had a lot of fun things for the community and the kids. We did a big raffle and things because right now we are suffering in Washington and we are having a hard time not being able to fellowship with each other. So this is also why we're doing this, so that we can come together and be together. And obviously we want to be safe, so thank you so much for thinking about that and thinking about the other people who you might go home to, who might, be a little bit more susceptible. So thank you again for taking that into consideration. So I know that we have lots of people from different areas here. Thank you for those who came from far away, Eastern Washington. We've got some from up north. We've got some all the way over on the Olympic Peninsula. So again, thank you so much. We have little tiny flags for sale. We have pins for sale for $1. And again, all of those proceeds go back into our law enforcement. We will have a couple of special guest speakers that will be here. But right now, what we want to be is loud and proud. So let's go ahead and start letting the world know that we are here to defend our law enforcement. And without them, we are not able to have peace. So get your flags up, your signs up, and hoop and howl if you want to. Otherwise, just wave them and let's have a great time. Thank you again for being here, and we're going to try and figure out if we can get some music going.
Okay, so thank you everybody for your patience because we just went live on the air. Welcome to Malcontentment Tango. I am the Malcontent.
If you want to walk around, march together, but please, just again for safety situations and everything, try and stay in groups of at least 2, because unfortunately there are possible counter-protests that may y'all aren't dumb. So please try and stay together. Find a buddy. Everybody needs a buddy. All right. Thanks, guys. And we will let you know when our next speakers come in.
Okay, let me try and start again. Hello, everybody. Welcome. The Malcontentment Tango. This is the Malcontent. We are live. We are in Seattle. We are at the Defend the Seattle Police Department from defunding. I think I just mangled what the event is. Rally. There is a significant number of protests and actions that are going on inside of Seattle today. And longtime malcontents know that we cover the whole gamut. So we cover these events all the way up to ENDD on the other side. And so this is an event that Seattle Police Officers Guild called out. I don't know if endorse isn't the right word. It's and promoted's not the right word, but they did put it on their website and said, hey, people come on down. So that was one of the reasons this popped up on our radar, and we said, okay, we'll come on down. I have been told that there is a group, another protest group that's about 1,000 feet from this position. We'll probably be walking back and forth between those two groups. I know some of you are like, how many people I'm going to get to it. We'll do the pan around. We'll do the walk around. we had to start rolling, so I didn't get to do the intro. There is also today a Culp car caravan. If you're part of our national audience and you're like, who's Culp? What's Culp? So Culp is the Republican governor candidate running in the state of Washington. They're a somewhat controversial figure. They're from Eastern Washington. And there is a planned Culp caravan to drive through Seattle today. So there is some potential for some volatility because the car caravan people tend to be, you know, people that are more heavily armed and kind of, I mean, we've seen this over and over and over again. And so there's the potential because of kind of all of these groups that could be converging here in the next kind of 90 minutes. So we'll see what happens. And as people know, when the music kind of starts, I generally, you know, start blabbering away because we get knocked off the air all the time when the music starts playing.
TANGO,
Yes.
you are the biggest hypocrite on the face of the planet.
Hey, we've got a fan here, folks.
Not a fan. You purposely, I watch all the streams. I live on Capitol Hill, and I'm afraid for my safety.
Okay.
And you purposely don't film people when they're doing bad things, when they're breaking windows, when they're destroying things. And then you repeatedly say, they're innocent, this was a peaceful protest, they didn't do anything wrong. All the time. But that's not the truth. You purposely lie. I watch you lie. And I've called you out on it on Facebook, and you blocked me.
Well,
You are a fucking liar.
So here, first of all,
you are a bad person, and you are a liar. And you
So-
pretend like Black Lives Matter is not violent, and I've watched them be violent. You are a bad liar.
all right, so
Unbelievable.
wait a minute. You come here and say this, and then you're going to walk away. I'm trying to have a conversation with you.
You blocked me when I told you it.
Well, first
now
of all-
I'm blocking you.
Well, that doesn't even make sense. As most people know, when I'm on the air, it's basically impossible for me to block someone because I'm not managing what's going on with that. And there's
I don't need a two-way conversation. He already blocked me when I tried to have a conversation with him.
I have
Now
12
I'm blocking you.
I have 12 moderators and admins. I wouldn't have blocked you because I'm not the one that's following that when that's going on. So
Now
one
you're
of the mods.
threatening me live and putting my life in
But you
danger.
walked right up to me with the camera rolling. I mean, you have actually people that are supporters of you. There was an individual that's a supporter of your side that just came over, said you're not willing to have the conversation.
There's no conversation to have with you. You're a liar.
I am not a liar.
You are a liar. I've watched you lie. There's no arguing with you because you're gonna lie. You consistently
The camera
say-
doesn't lie.
You say the camera doesn't lie, but you turn your fucking camera every single time they do something bad. They break windows and they destroy things and you say it's a peaceful protest. But when you turn the camera, you don't show their faces. You don't show them when they're doing horrible things. And then you say it's a peaceful protest and they're like, I don't know what they did wrong, and you make these evil
It is factually incorrect for you to say that we turn the camera all the time, that we never show stuff getting broken.
I watch you turn the camera. You purposely hide their faces. You purposely hide their faces. But you're not going to hide my face. You're going to put me right in front of
Well,
everyone.
again, we're here having, you're the one who walked up and we're having the conversation here.
So
I know. Let's just turn and smile and wait for a flag.
Fake news, go fake. We know it.
Well, things got interesting very, very quick here, folks. So we're just going to go right back to covering what's going on here. So as we were saying earlier, or as I was starting to say earlier, they were starting to go ahead and move up and go out. And I think what they're trying to do is get some music going. And I had started to say, before someone had come up, that we were going to go ahead and start talking over the music. So there is approximately maybe 40 people here, and right now I'm the center of attention, so it'll be real easy for me to just kind of spin around to show the size of the crowd that's here. And it is a relatively small group at this time. I also know the Kitty Davis court is here. because Kitty, or at least I believe she's here, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the Kitty Davis court is here because somebody walked by and said hi, and I kind of looked up, and I was kind of sure that it was Kitty that was the individual that was here, which is somebody that uses a lot of our content, and I wish they wouldn't. So it was an interesting interaction, to say the least. Not with Kitty, the one that we just had. And of course, as people who watch the streams know that I get called out on the other side. There's people that say all I show is the bad shit, and all you show is the bad things, and all you show is when bad things are happening. It's an interesting position to be in because you're never going to make everybody happy, and my job isn't to make everybody happy.
Your job is to report the facts. Report the facts.
He's an evil man.
I don't know him personally. I just report the facts.
Well, and the facts of the report right here, if you say to report the facts, there's probably 40 or 50 people here that are having us support the police officers. An anti-defund rally is what's going on here. And the group is growing slowly, and I suspect it'll continue to grow as they're, I don't know, about 30 minutes past the start time? Yeah, there's the time. We're about 30 minutes past start time. And again, as I was starting to say earlier, there's this possibility of a confluence of 3 different groups kind of coming here today. There's the Culp car caravan that's driving through Seattle. I would presume that the Culp car caravan knows about this event going on. And then in addition, there is a group of protesters, as I've been told, that are about 1,000 feet from here.
Idea from one of our helpers.
One of the speakers is going here.
Would anybody like to come up here and say why the police are important to them, or what it kind of means to you to be out here, and why you want to be out here? You don't have to say your name. It's totally fine. But if you would like to do that, just come and see Michelle. The loud one over here at the raffle table. So if you'd like to do that, then just come find me. No, that's totally fine. And we have my mask on. Yep, and we have hand sanitizer over there by Miss Savannah if you'd like to use it after this. Thank you.
Hi. I normally don't speak to the public, so I did write a little something because I'm very concerned with the direction of this city, like all of you are. I live in South Seattle, by the way, District 2. When I think about the word police, the first thing that comes to my mind is respect. The second, honor. I'm grateful for all of our officers who protect our city and its residents and businesses. I would like to tell you a story. In 2018, November, my neighbor's home was robbed. The person had a gun. The perpetrator had a gun. They aimed it at her as she was coming home, and they were exiting with the goods that they were able to gather. She called the SPD. They came within 2 minutes, had a canine with them, and they found the gentleman who robbed the items. We consoled her. We are so grateful. I live over the Jose Rizal Bridge, gateway to South Seattle, and there's a lot of crime in that area. If you looked up the records, you'd see tons of crime on South Weller and 12th Avenue South area, that location. We witnessed many incidents in that area. I have myself 3 unsanctioned encampments on my street and many more down the road. I went to go for a walk to Leshai on the Mount Casound bike trail this week, and there was a guy who was obviously either going through a mental issue or having a drug-induced scenario where he's flailing his arms, blocking this small path about this size, and there's a retaining wall on one side and house fences on the other. And I thought, nope, not gonna walk to Leshai. And it's very sad that we can't do these things in our city. Instead, I walked up to Jefferson Park, which is beautiful, and that street and that area is still okay to walk. But it's sad that we have to worry about those things. Over the past 4 years, we've seen our city become more violent and dilapidated due to the increased, relaxed laws and turnstile justice system, where many offenders are tossed back out onto the street to commit again. This requires the attention of our already understaffed police force. A lot has changed in Seattle, and a lot has to change. People and businesses do not feel safe. Employees and businesses do not feel safe. This city council, who makes haphazard choices and continues along with Pete Holmes, the Seattle city attorney, to put citizens from the marginalized to the middle class and all others, including businesses and their employees, at risk every day. It's terribly sad when leadership thinks grown men with their pants down or no pants at all, no underwear. This summer I saw this, I can't tell you how many times, downtown on Rainier Avenue. I'm just driving to do my normal shopping, getting groceries, and I've seen so many half-naked from the waist down men who obviously are in some sort of crisis. And this city does nothing. I am so grateful I don't have small children, small 4-year-old girl that has to see this in our city and on our streets. And I'm sure others here who are from Seattle have seen this. You could not have. I've seen it so many times. My neighbors and I have seen a ton of first responder action, especially, as I said, in the area of South Weller, South Seattle, Rainier Avenue. We all in Seattle see needles on our playgrounds, in our school parks. I live on Beacon Hill. We have this issue all over the city, not just where I live. We have needles on the streets. I saw needles on the Mountain Sound bike trail, a ton of them, about 5 or 6, just in the middle of a bike trail. I wouldn't even want to ride my bike on that trail for fear that one of those might pop up back at me if my tire goes on it a certain way. A message to the local leadership: let's stop virtue signaling. This is not a movie or a video game. This is our lives and our livelihoods. Stop with the excuses. Stop pointing fingers. Stop normalizing violence, destructive actions and destruction and harmful behavior. Please start actually taking action to protect our communities and all of its residents and businesses. Empower your officers. Work to recruit more officers from the areas that they serve. I was taught growing up to respect officers and first responders who put their lives on the line every day for the citizens in the area and businesses that they serve. I do not respect this non-performing city council, nor the city's leadership. They've done nothing but make citizens feel unsafe and ignore businesses' complaints year over year. And I don't want my tax dollars for the home that I own to go to the way they're looking to fund it. I want to fund the Seattle police. If anything, we need more police. Including the navigation team, comprised of social workers and officers. We do not want to defund. From 2016 till now, the city has rapidly degraded. This is due to the local leadership. I am so concerned that I listed my house for sale in August of this year. It's still listed, and I can't wait for someone to buy it because I don't feel safe. It's very sad. I worked hard all my life as a single mom with 2 kids who are adults now. I chose Seattle as the place that I decided to purchase and buy a home. as an investment, and I see that investment going south if the city's direction keeps going in the direction it is. It's a very sad state, and I can't take another year of giving my property tax dollars to a continually mismanaging city council and leadership to make poor choices, causing my surroundings to rapidly decay. Look around, we need to have police, we need to have appropriate funding to ensure the safety and security of all of the citizens of this city. If we don't take action and the silent majority does not speak out like me and speak up, we can lose this once vibrant city we love called Seattle. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for allowing me
That is what our city needs to hear. That is what they need to know, is that this is affecting everyone. It's not just affecting some, but it's affecting everyone. So we have a couple more people who would like to speak. I've got a gal, and I'm going to read her testimony that she wrote. So give me just a second so I can grab that. So this is homeless people need tough love. Right now, the city council is deciding whether to override the mayor's veto and dismantle the city's navigation team as part of the budget cuts they approved earlier this year. If they do that, what will it mean for this city's homeless population? The city did override the mayor's veto and is proceeding with the cuts to the police, including the navigation team. We share the story of one former homeless person on the streets of Seattle and her thoughts on police defunding. In 2014, due to severe depression, I ended up homeless and was going to commit suicide. But being that I am still here, as you can see, God had other plans for me. For a while, I lived on the streets. I'm so sorry, I just moved the phone really fast. Okay. And in my car, God then brought me to a place called Valley Cities, and they helped me to work really hard on my mental health. After that, I found a place called Union Gospel Mission, which was a great place with wonderful people. However, their programs are geared towards drugs and alcohol, not mental health.
We're online, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So I ended up leaving
MALCONTENTMENT
their
TANGO,
program
yes.
and went to a shelter called Kent Hope. From there, I went to Hospitality House, then to a transitional
I don't have an
housing
agenda.
program.
What the agenda I have right
called
now is
Jubilee
respecting the
Women's
speaker
Center,
and letting her talk.
finally
If
to
that's
a
okay.
permanent low
If you want to talk
income
to me
house
after
called
she's done,
Broadway
I would
House.
love to talk to you, but I want to
On
respect
that
the
journey,
speaker.
Valley Cities
Thank
introduced
you.
me to a group of people called peer support specialists. These are people who have been through the same thing as others, like myself, and I ended up getting a full-time job with them. I decided I wanted to be a peer support specialist and to work with the homeless and help them get off the streets. However, while I was training for that, some brain tumors were discovered in my head, and I ended up with 2 brain surgeries, which led to severe depression again. I am just now starting to come out of the depression and found Elevation Church and this Facebook group called Juggling Jenkins. The Juggling Jenkins group helps me with the addiction stuff in my family. My current goal is to get back into my peer support training, which starts in October. There's a lot of training you have to do, and then I have to become state certified. I would love to eventually work for Valley Cities. I would also love to open a faith-based treatment center for mental health. Now I hear all this talk on defunding the police. As a former homeless person in Seattle, let me say, That would not help the homeless population. It would actually make it worse. There is a certain respect that homeless people have for police officers that they would not have for a social worker. A homeless person is more likely to listen to SPD than a social worker, and the truth is that sometimes homeless people need tough love. That is what cops give. After that, it is up to the system to follow through with that tough love. I personally don't know what that tough love is because I chose to change my own and found the resources to make that change, but I know many others who do. In the end, change happens within, not outside in. So thank you so much for that, and that is an incredible, amazing testimony. Thank you so much. So we have okay, we're gonna take a little bit of break so y'all don't get all the feels right away and start crying because I'm about to. And we are going to go ahead and just wave your flags, say hello to each other, and again, be safe. I'm gonna play some music. We've got our raffle over here to the left. Our big raffle item is the American flag, which was made by MV Custom Flags. You can find us on Facebook. You can order your own. We do all kinds of flags. We do the American flag, military, police, any specialty unit, as well as firefighters and things of that nature. It is all hand done and hardwood. And then we have two other raffle groupings of a wonderful support our police flag, or excuse me, shirt. I'm gonna start screaming if I get too close. We've got a lanyard, we have a mask, we've got a pin and a sticky notepad. So if you guys would like to enter that raffle, it is $5 for one raffle ticket, 5 tickets for $20. All of the proceeds for this go to our law enforcement. We also have little blue line flags that you can wave up here for $2 and pins for $1. And you don't have to have cash. We do have a card reader. So we came prepared, sort of. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to come up here and talk to me, Michelle, or Savannah, and we will help you out. Thank you again for everyone being here. We will be here until 2 o'clock. So we have more fun coming. Thanks, guys.
So this is what we will try to do. I'm going to see if we can try to talk to one of the organizers here. We can get an interview with one of the organizers. While I'm having that conversation with one of the organizers, I may mute or I may go to the color bar coming soon video. Those who watch, you know that if I have conversations on both sides about where somebody, particularly if we're seeking an interview, we always try to have that side conversation. So for those of you who are just tuning in, right, we are live, we are in Seattle. There are multiple rallies / protests that are going on in Seattle today. There is this one, which is this, I guess we would call it an anti-defund the police or support the police rally. There is, as I understand, another group of protesters about 1,000 feet from there. I will be walking over to where that group is eventually at some point. There is also scheduled today a Culp car caravan. If you're part of the national audience and you're like, Culp, who's Culp? What's Culp? What is that? It's not a play on words like culpable or anything like that. The Republican candidate, because there is a governor election happening in Washington state this year, and the Republican candidate is Culp. And so there is a car caravan. No idea if they are going to come here, but they are planning to drive through Seattle. So, and I would say if the Culp caravan doesn't come here, I think everything is just going to be peaceful and chill on all sides. I think if the Culp caravan comes here and gets in between kind of the two different groups, not sure what happens then at that point. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go see if I can talk to a couple of the organizers and we get a statement. If some of you are scratching your head, newer malcontents, we do cover all things. We've covered SPOG rallies, we've covered Trump rallies, and as you know, we've covered the ENDD stuff. And there was a person here over on the other side, you know, not appreciative of our coverage on the ENDD stuff while we are here trying to cover this stuff. So, and that cuts both ways. So, and one thing I'm just going to call out that you may have caught on the mic or not, when the woman came over and we were filming the speaker, and I really try to respect all speakers. And I said to that woman, you know, like, do you have an agenda? I was like, right now my agenda is to respect the speaker. And I'm very, very sincere. I would love to have a conversation with that same woman in the back. He's lying to you right now. And I'm like, it's just a ridiculous thing to say. So I think it just kind of goes to show that it's on all sides. So with that, let me go see if I can. So right now, looks like they've got a little bit of a line, the organizers, and they're selling their pins, or other stuff that they're selling. So this was the sign someone else was holding up earlier. To me, it's a very ironic sign in the vocation that I'm in. I mean, that's one that leaves me scratching my head. I think any rational person would look at that and scratch their head. And I've said it many, many times. I've said it when we covered the SPOG rallies. I've said it when we covered some of the other stuff. You know, just because we're showing it doesn't mean we necessarily agree with it. And that cuts both ways. And generally, when we do these things, the smaller rallies and all, don't bring pole cam. Pole cam is better for marches and all. Oh no, whoops. Hi there, how y'all doing? I actually didn't mean to flip the camera around, but I'm not sure why it did. It's cold, I will say that. It's cold, and my fingers are flipping freezing. So, I'm trying to get you a shot so you can just kind of see how many people are here. And again, right now, the two primary organizers are that's about it. I am looking to see. Yeah, if I back up just a little bit more, this is probably 90% of who's here. I don't have everybody in frame. And again, there's a couple of more people that are arriving. Like I could see 2 people will be walking into frame here probably in about 30 seconds. Then there's a couple other people out of frame on the left. You'll see this couple that I was talking about. Oh. See, and if I go here, they're just sort of like, you know, I'll show it. It's like, that's it. There's nothing. So I'm right now I've got it framed up where that's like the very, very edge of the people. And then if I kind of swing this way, and then that's about it. And again, it's like, oh, you're not. No, I'm showing everything. Since I've been accused of lies. You're a liar, you lie. It actually was interesting. I will say this, if you go back and you listen, there were people when I said, hey, I'm trying to have a conversation, there were people here like, why are you walking away? Meaning directed at her. You know, so, and I would have had the conversation. I think people know that. People that watch me know that I would have had the conversation. I will defend my record. And generally, particularly if the marches are going on, see, that's the other thing. It's like, you deleted me, you deleted me. When the marches are going on and I'm moving, I say it all the time. Hey, I'm not reading your comments. I can't see what's going on, right? It's just, I'm rolling camera. So for those of you who are just tuning in, we are live. We are in Seattle. We're at Green Lake. Green Lake is a really big park. Sometimes in smaller parks, even though Cal Anderson's kind of a bigger park, you can kind of figure out at Cal Anderson where people are. We're at Green Lake. Green Lake is a really big park. We're over by the Evans Pool area of Green Lake. And some people are probably like, is that north, south, east, west? Honestly, I don't know. And they're a little spread out, so it's a little harder to count. 75-ish as people are trickling in, but it's definitely kind of a smaller showing, and I will probably I really would like to get an interview with the organizers, and then I will probably head over to one of the other protests that are in the area. And one of the things that I'm kind of considering is, because Black Coffee Northwest is doing their soft opening in Shoreline, that's a few miles north of here. That soft opening is ending at 1 o'clock. So that's the other thing I'm weighing in my mind is like, do I want to run up and provide some voice for Black Coffee, Black Coffee Northwest, and what I probably will do with Black Coffee Northwest is their grand opening. Because the other thing is, I have not talked to the owners of there to say, hey, can we shoot on a business opening? And prior to all of this, meaning COVID, prior to 2020, really prior to 2020, we as a company were doing a lot of business openings. We would provide video services for companies doing ribbon cuttings and grand openings and, their promo videos. And of course, all that just evaporated with COVID. And because even if, you can open your business and do a ribbon cutting, but you can't hey, we're getting a few hundred people here, yada, yada kind of thing. And, it's something you just generally don't roll up on, particularly on a soft open, because soft openings are generally when people are working the kinks out of things. And if I think back, we only did one soft opening, and that was for Evergreens. So it is cold.
So now the Chinese people don't like the police because they think they just get along.
Things are.
That the police because they would only defend businesses, only to defend the police.
I'm probably going to mute out here in like a minute, 30 seconds to a minute. Don't go away. I'm just going to mute because I do want to talk to the organizers and see if we can just get them on camera and get their voice. And then we're probably going to go over to the other group because, again, it's pretty quiet here, and it's a pretty small turnout. Actually, is she walking back to the PA?
All right, guys, we're going to have a couple more speakers now, so let us welcome our next speaker who's going to tell us a little bit about what this means to her and how
She does her piece.
Okay, so
Hi, I'm Beth Young, and a couple months ago, thank you. A couple months ago, I helped co-host a rally with Yana Downing downtown in City Hall because we have been silenced too much, and we need to speak up. Jason Rance said, the silent majority needs to stop being silent. You said
Here.
better than that. I forget this, but we do. You have to speak up.
I'm trying to film her and respect her speech. No. I would like to interview one of the organizers, and I think you're one of, but I want to let her speak. I just want. Okay.
Absolutely, I'm more than happy to talk to you.
Members,
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you.
won their re-election based on promising new funding for police, for more police, because we need that. I am so dismayed by all the elected officials that have refused to denounce violence against police. We've had dozens of police violently assaulted and injured, and no city official, to my knowledge, no state official, the ones that should care about law and order, about protecting and defending the laws, have spoken up. They've not said it is wrong to assault police. It's wrong to throw concrete at them. It's wrong to throw explosives at them. Those are all wrong, period. That's not peaceful protest. There is lots of room for peaceful protest, and I'm for the First Amendment, period. But the First Amendment says it's the right of the people to peaceably assemble. You can yell, you can have signs, you can be mad at people, but you need to be peaceable. And what we've seen over and over is not peaceable, and there's no excuse for that. Here we are, we're peaceful. We're saying lots of things, we're expressing our anger, our disgust, our fear, but we're doing it peacefully, and that's what needs to be done. We need to defend the police because, we have too few police, and there's too many violent incidents happening around Seattle, especially with police taken away by nightly protests that often turn violent. There's less police available. I just called the police on a man with a machete, yelling and threatening and waving the machete at people outside of Martell's in Lake City this week. That was pretty scary, and I was thankful that there were police to come and remove the machete and remove the threat.
No, you're fine.
We all know we need the police, and we also know, if we really think about it, the police have a terribly hard job. They work with some of the worst people. If there's a murderer out there, if there's a rapist out there, domestic violence, some really ugly situations, and they have to go in and deal with them to protect the vulnerable. Who do you think is hurt the most when there are less police? It's women, it's children, it's people in high crime neighborhoods. People in high crime neighborhoods say they want more police, not less. It's not fair to take away police, take away their protection, and let whatever drug lords or whoever take over their neighborhood. We saw what happened when the police moved out of CHOP and Chaz. There were 2 homicides of teenagers, black teenagers. That was awful. And that's what happens more and more when you take away the police. So this is just an encouragement. I'm running for office in Seattle. It's kind of crazy. I'm running as a Republican in Seattle. Thank you. And I'm ready to make a difference. I'm running in the 46th District, Position 2, which is Northeast Seattle, Lake Forest Park, and Kenmore. And I'm not going to make it about politics, but I think you need to keep your politicians accountable. All of them. From the governor on down, they need to be accountable for how they react to violence in our streets, to lawlessness in our streets, to the issue of defunding, because the state legislature will move forward. The current one-party state legislature, one-party dominated state legislature, will move forward to defund the police and take away power from the police if they are reelected, and that will start in January. We need to make a difference. Donate to your candidates. Donate to candidates who stand up for the police. Donate to candidates who want to have law and order applied to all. I want justice for all. And I especially want to protect the vulnerable. And we all need protection. We all deserve protection. And we all deserve elected officials who support that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I heard there's somebody here from the Safe Seattle, but unfortunately I don't know your name because fabulous. So David is going to come. He is from the Safe Seattle page. If you guys are not a part of that, it's an amazing page on Facebook that is really for the Seattle citizens and what is going on and the truth beyond the media. So thank you, David, for being here. And do you want the microphone?
Safe Seattle is a group that celebrated my doxing by Mike Solon on their page. I'll just call it for what it is.
Thank you. So, the theme of my remarks here today is why we need police. And I'll give you a spoiler here. It's to protect our First Amendment rights, our freedom of speech and our freedom of assembly. What we're doing here right now.
Yes.
Wouldn't really happen. We couldn't do this consistently without the police. Now, I noticed here today that it's a very nice crowd. Antifa is somewhere in the vicinity. They're off a ways though, and this is the way it should be. They can have their event somewhere, and we can have our event somewhere. We can come together occasionally, peacefully, and hash out our issues. But when people are threatening each other, that's no good. Free speech, free assembly means nothing in contexts like that. So, our free speech and assembly is written into the Constitution. It's part of the Bill of Rights, the First Amendment. That's how important it is. That's how important it was to the founders. They put it right there, number one. The Bill of Rights guarantees our freedom of speech and assembly, but it's the rule of law that upholds those rights. And it's the police who uphold the rule of law. Because without the police, who's going to come here and protect your right to speak freely? Is it going to be some council member? Is it going to be some social worker? No. Ultimately, it's the police who protect that. And I know that for a fact because I've seen it in action. The previous two rallies, Back the Blue rallies that I've been at, there was a large cordon of police around our folks. And on the other side of the street, there were some really angry looking protesters. And if it hadn't been for the cops there in between us, those protesters would have come over and totally disrupted our event. They would have suppressed our freedom of speech. So let me tell you a little bit more about what I do for freedom of speech. I'm an admin for the Safe Seattle page on Facebook. Has anybody here been on that page or heard about it? Good. So there's a lot of me on that page, I'll admit it, but it's mostly a place where people can tell their stories. It's a page that's devoted to public safety and good government. But the reason why it exists and the reason why it's so popular, why we have nearly 17,000 regular followers, is because people in Seattle feel like they need to have a place where they can go to talk about what's happening, what's been happening to them, what's been happening in their neighborhood. If they have some criticism of people in government, that's where they can go and do it safely. And we allow them to do that by letting them be anonymous. So they don't have to use their real name if they have a story to tell. If they're not allowed to just say anything they want with impunity. If they make a claim, a fact, I have to know them personally, I have to meet them, speak with them. I have to trust them before I will post their information. That way we know that they're not just going to tell tall tales or defame other people. But then in exchange for that, we give them anonymity so they can say what they're not allowed to say or what they don't feel safe to say in other places. And that's why it's such a popular page. But since I've been managing that page, I've seen a degradation of free speech right. I've seen people become more and more afraid. I've been with the page 4.5 years, and in that time, I see a lot more people saying, I have something I want to share with you, but I absolutely can't put my name on that, because if I put my name on it, then my neighbors are going to find out about it and they're going to dox me. They're going to splash my name all over social media. And then
ironic comment.
My friends aren't going to talk to me. Maybe I'm going to get fired. I can't do it. And when I started 4 years ago, there was a little bit of that, but now it's just constant. So I always assume that a person wants anonymity unless they specifically say otherwise. That's just our default. It's like, we're not going to put your real name on it. We might use a pseudonym, whatever. It might change some of the details so people can't identify you, but that's what we have to do. In addition to what I've seen on the page, I see people's First Amendment rights slipping in public. I see minority voices, dissident voices being shouted down in public meetings. I've heard people say, I don't even want to go to City Hall anymore because they're not going to let me speak anyway. I'll put my name on the list. 2 hours, 3 hours later, maybe I'll get a chance to speak for a minute. And I know the City Council is going to ignore what I say. So that's not free speech. That's not freedom of assembly. It's just in name only, but it doesn't mean anything. I've seen moderate and dissonant and voices ignored by the media. We hear constantly from Safe Seattle readers this comment: why isn't this in the news? Why am I not seeing this story on TV? There's like a homeless camp that's really a headquarters for criminal activity. It's been there for months. People all around the camp are getting stuff stolen. Why do I not see this in any news stories? We see people being shunned by businesses who are afraid of boycotts if they post an event where there's going to be some criticism of the status quo. There was a documentary a couple years ago called Seattle is Dying. I'm sure that many of you have heard of that. It was by Como, right? A mainstream media organization. And yes, it was controversial because it talked about a lot of the problems that were occurring in Seattle.
About 12 months ago.
But it was the type of thing that people felt, well, we can discuss this at least, can't we? We should be able to have a public forum on this to decide whether this is an accurate representation of what's happening in Seattle. So there was a forum set up at a cafe in Wallingford, a cafe pub in Wallingford. And there were like 4 or 5 speakers from both sides of the issue. But it had to be canceled at the last minute because the pub was afraid of boycotts. So that's not free speech. That's not freedom of assembly. A friend of mine, Ari Hoffman, was running for city council in 2019, and a fundraising event that he had planned for months in advance was canceled at the last minute because the restaurant where it was to be held had been threatened with boycotts. So again, it's just like one thing after another, and I see it every single day. People say, I can't speak up, I can't say what I like to say, I can't even admit how I feel to my neighbors because I'm afraid that there's going to be retaliation against me. So, like I said, Safe Seattle has become a refuge for these people because they can come on and have some anonymity. They're not going to suffer retaliation. But even so, we've seen the First Amendment rights of our readers slipping steadily. About a year ago, some group that claimed to be associated with Antifa went around and took screenshots of people who were commenting on our page with their real names, and then tried to organize a campaign of intimidation against them, talking to their employers, trying to get them fired. They would say, hey, do you know that this person is a top fan of Safe Seattle, this employee of yours? Is that really somebody you want working for you? We had organized attacks on the page. They're called brigade attacks, where a whole bunch of people will report your page at the same time, trying to get Facebook to shut you down. It doesn't have to be legitimate. It just has to be widespread, where you have like 100 people all reporting your page at the same time to Facebook, saying, oh, Safe Seattle's using offensive language, they're harassing me and my friends. Fortunately, none of those movements succeeded. None of those brigade attacks shut us down, because we were very well prepared for that, and we're very careful about about our guidelines, our rules of etiquette, and so forth. But they tried, and when they fail with Safe Seattle, they will succeed with other pages. I've seen that happen. There have been complaints filed against police officers with the Office of Police Accountability just for commenting on our page. It could be a really neutral comment. It could be like a thumbs up to a story about police. And those will trigger a complaint by people who want to shut us down, a complaint against the officer who makes that comment. And even if the complaint is not justified, it's not upheld, it takes 6 months to process. So if you file an OPA complaint against an officer, even if it's totally bogus, that officer is in the wind for 6 months. They can't transfer out. So that's a real threat. And that keeps officers from using their real name on our page. Whenever we get anonymous contribution from a police officer who wants to tell us about some aspect of their daily experience, we have to be extra careful so that none of the details they give us can be traced back to them, because it could be their job. That's how serious this problem is. In the wake of George Floyd's death, the enemies of the First Amendment have become emboldened. They stage protests, sometimes violent protests, in which people are afraid to even venture out on the street and confront them. People are afraid to take pictures of property destruction on their own property, because the protesters will confront them and say, oh, you're putting us at risk. You're trying to get us in trouble with the police.
Every day. Every day.
So, I'm not sure the protesters understand really what's going on here. They think they're in the right, but really they're working against the Constitution. It is perfectly legal to take pictures in a public forum, just like you folks are taking my picture now. I got my mask off. I'm not afraid. That's your right, and I would never try to take that right away from you. And I don't want you or your supporters to ever try to take that right away from me. This is a two-way street. Did any of you see that live stream that Brandy Cruz did at CHOP? Where a bunch of the anarchists there were following her around and threatening her, menacing her, making some very ugly comments about her. She tried to leave at one point, and they wouldn't even let her do that. They were blocking her off. And like, she's a name brand reporter. So think about that a second. If somebody like Brandy Cruz is afraid to report on a situation, what does that say about everybody who's less well known than her? just your average Joe on the street who wants to like go live stream for himself. Businesses are being targeted for vandalism, and they're being targeted for very specific reasons. If there's a business that has opposed the violent protests in some way, or a business that the protesters have identified as being against their cause, they'll single it out for property damage and vandalism. There's a poster that has been appearing next to businesses that are damaged in this way, and this is an incredible thing. It's actually justifying and excusing property damage. And there have been hundreds of these around the city after the protests. And two of the bullet items on here say...
Counter-protesters are starting to march in.
Okay, we're going to see defense of free speech in action here in a minute, apparently. So bear with me. There might be some shouting back and forth. That's okay, as long as it doesn't turn violent. So, again, this flyer defended attacks on private property.
So here, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go back a little bit, because if they're going to turn the speaker volume up, what will happen is it will blow out my microphone, and it'll blow out my microphone. Not blow it out as in destroy it, but you won't be able to hear anything.
You know, free speech is speaking up and saying your piece. Free speech is not shutting someone else down. It's organizing your own event and getting people to come to your own event. If you have to shut people down, that means you're afraid of them. That means you don't care about their First Amendment. You don't care about their rights. So let's remember that.
There's a group of protesters that have shown up. There's about
is for fascism,
50-ish.
is for shutting people down, and is for totalitarianism.
Well, I always like to point out, if you're saying Antifa and Antifa is fascism,
use them.
It doesn't even make sense.
Come out to rallies like this. Get your friends out here. If there was just half the number of people here that are here now, they would win by default. And to be honest with you, we ought to have a lot more people here now. At the last two rallies I was at, there was like 4 or 5 times as many people there as today. And that was clearly a win for us. But if we allow them to scare us away from events like this, they win by default.
Well, I don't think
unfortunately, there's a lot of people who would have come to this event today who didn't, precisely because these folks threatened to be here. And a lot of folks just aren't prepared to deal with that. So if they stay over there, that's fine with me. We can hear them, they can hear us, and that's cool. I don't agree with their message, but here I am, I can hear it. They don't agree with our message, but they have to listen to it. They have to let us be here and speak. So to return to the theme of my remarks, why we need police. We need police to defend and protect the First Amendment. That's my big issue. No police, no First Amendment. For us or for them. I want to give you a brief anecdote to end my remarks. At one of these Back the Blue rallies I was at, there was a protester who was on the perimeter shouting at our folks through a megaphone. And one of our folks knocked the megaphone out of his hand. At which point he ran and got the megaphone, picked it back up, and said, "I want to file a report. I want to talk to a cop so I can file a report." It's great, I got a picture of it. So the point is, they need police as much as we need police. If police go away, it's just a matter of time before they lose their rights too. So they really should be finding more common ground with us and working together with us to make the best, most accountable and responsive police force they can. We're all in this together. We all need the police. Don't defund the Constitution. Don't defund the police. Defend the Constitution. Defend the police. Thank you very much.
All right. So this is what I want to do because I had talked about interviewing the other person,
We
but
have a right to free speech just as they have a right to free speech. The difference that we need to remember today is that violence is not okay, and that we can have free speech as much as they have free speech. So it is perfectly fine that they are there, and we are okay that we're protesting and they're protesting.
David,
That's
do you
what
have a
we're here
card?
in America for. We have the freedom to assemble. We have the freedom of speech.
all right.
It's when things get out of control, get violent, and people start getting hurt that we have a problem. And that's why we're standing here and supporting our police, because that's when they need to step in. And that's when we need their help and they need their help to keep everybody safe. So thank you again for being here. We're gonna have more speakers. I would also like to remind you, we are all adults here, so please behave like adults. Remember what you're here for. Remember that our future leaders, our children, are going to end up seeing this and seeing your example. So how do you want your children and the children of Washington to behave? Remember that when you have somebody else having a difference of opinion. I have a daughter who has a difference of opinion, and that is perfectly okay. Because you know what? I am proud and thankful that I raised a daughter who will stand strong and proud for what she believes in. And that is all right. We can have a difference of opinion. We are allowed to have a difference of opinion, and I am so thankful we have a difference of opinion, because this world would be really boring if we were all the same. So I am so thankful for that difference of opinion, and that we can all be here and we can peaceably assemble and we can be able to have our voices heard. So thank you again for assembling. Thank you for defending our police forces. Thank you for defending your city, because it is us who live here. It is our police officers who live here. It is us community who live here, and we are the ones who are being affected on all ends from this, from both sides. Both sides are affected. They're hurting, we're hurting. We need to listen to each other and make sure that we are heard. And hate does not heal anything. Hate can only bring more hate. What we need to start showing is love. And that we truly do love humankind, that we love the human race, and that every human matters. And that we stand for the same things, because we stand for the ones who protect the most vulnerable. We're the ones who are going to be at your door in your darkest hour, in the time of need, that you are terrified out of your mind that something horrible has happened. And they're going to be the ones that are there to save you from that, to protect you from that, and to hopefully resolve the situation. So again, thank you so much. We're going to give you guys some time to let your voices be heard. I'm going to be on here and be supporting our police and doing some chants, and then we will get back to our speakers shortly. All right? So everybody, thank you again. Yeah! Okay, everybody, come on.
Okay, you wanna do our thingy dingy? I know you don't want to be too far from your table, but it looks like there's another. You know what I mean? I'm trying. I want to be able to hear you, right? So.
Hey everybody, thanks for coming out and backing the blue today.
We said we were going to interview one of the organizers of this, and we're just trying to, and it's just gotten really loud, and then I want to just cover the other side of it. So they're working some logistics out. We'll do that interview, then we're going to go and start covering the other aspects of it. But I'm just trying to stick to the plan.
And we all know that the wealthy, rich neighborhoods are just going to hire their own private security. Beth was right. The defund
No one-
and taking away our
it's gonna be fine.
minorities,
Okay.
people among
Maybe we just, yeah, how about just like, yeah.
your free speech.
I think you're just gonna have to speak up. You're gonna have to use your command. Kids? Do you have kids? Do you have kids?
But I'm a teacher, so.
Oh, then you have to use your teacher voice.
Yeah.
What grade, if you don't mind me asking? Oh, pre-K, yeah. They're definitely gonna have to. You're definitely gonna have to use the teacher voice. All right, so we're live streaming, so you don't have to give your whole name if you don't want to. The other thing I'm gonna say to, give her a voice, be respectful. Mods, you know what you need to do in the comments, right? We cover all sides, we cover all, I think you kind of saw the thing, and I was like, I think you heard a couple of people over there were like, hey, anyway. Right. Have a conversation, and she wouldn't have a conversation. So, let's get you. Well, 1 second. Did I lose? Oh, there we go. I'm like. All right, go ahead. So I needed to get another camera set up, Malcontent, so that what was going on. So you can tell me your name, tell me about your organization, because I heard you were starting to work on getting your 501c3, and tell me why you're here today.
So my name is Savannah.
Here's Savannah. You know what? Give me 1 more second. We're gonna make it a little easier for people to hear you. There we go. No, I'm gonna hold it. Yeah.
My name is Savannah. I work in downtown Seattle, and I run Back the Blue Washington on Facebook, and we are in the process of building a nonprofit organization. We're in the process of also trying to bring unity in the community, and making sure that we're trying to open people's eyes so they can see that, yes, there are bad police, we know that, that's not the issue, but we're trying to help people realize that there's also good police, and we don't have to have this. We don't have to be against each other, We're not white supremacists. I'm part of the LGBT community, and so, I'm not some white supremacist or a racist or homophobic. I'm a lesbian, so, I think it's important that everyone understands that each side comes from all walks of life, and we're out here to say that police are people too, and we know there's bad police, and it's unacceptable, and we agree with that, but we also want people to understand that there's good police, and they don't deserve to be attacked for the actions of bad police.
Right.
And I think that people are starting to not realize that a lot of the issues right now is our city council and our justice system, It's not, the police are just doing their job, and I feel like people don't take into consideration that there's a lot behind the scenes that has nothing to do with the police, but they get blamed for it. Breonna Taylor is a very good example. That the police didn't decide that what they were going to get charged with at the end of that. It's the justice system that needs to be fixed. Things like that need to be fixed. We just want unity.
So let me ask you this question, because we've covered SPOC rallies and Trump rallies, and I've talked to all sides. I've talked to people that are in ENDD. I've talked to people that are in the Proud Boys, right? So I've heard a lot of different voices. The voices I've heard here today, if I talk objectively, have generally been more moderate, right, than in other sides. How do we get past the polarization? We are so polarized as a nation? I think you could build the case that we are in open sectarian violence now in the United States of America. Right, and on the brink of something even worse. How do we get back to off the edge of this cliff, in your opinion?
I think it's going to take a lot of listening. I think it's going to take a lot of not yelling like this. I think it was like one day there was a switch where people became super intolerant and didn't want to hear anyone else's opinion if it didn't align with theirs. And I think we all need to step back and realize we're all human. And yes, there's bad people. Yes, there's white supremacists. Yes, there's this, that. But most of us here are just, like you said, we're moderate. We love everybody. We don't agree with racism or anything like that. And I think that people have a lot of anger right now. And I think if they just took a step back and listened to each other, I feel like we could get so much more done. We could be fighting injustice together. None of us agree with police brutality. None of us agree with any of the things that had happened with George Floyd and all of that. But when they chant Black Lives Matter, we agree, but there's black police. So it's sad that we can't come to some understanding, and I think it would definitely take everyone just stopping and really understanding that we're human and just get back to the basics and come back up.
Let me ask you this question, and I'll try to depolarize the question, because what I'll do is I will just align it strictly to the press, and I know there's a lot going on behind us, and so I'll probably make this the last question. My observation in 4 months, both in talking to people and when I say press, just more for my audience, this includes mainstream media, national media, and citizen journalists and people that say are independent journalists. What I have seen firsthand is, all things being equal, if there is a BIPOC, Black, Indigenous person of color, person in the media, and they're me, and we're standing side by side, and things are a little hectic, right? Things are going on, over and over and over again, I have seen the Black, Indigenous person of color, media, press person targeted, where no one puts a finger on me. And I'm left scratching my head, right? Because it's like, well, wait a minute. If you're going to baton the person, and I've been batoned, right? But I've seen it a lot more. And at least it leaves me, after seeing this on the front lines for 4 months, going, there's some inherent bias in the system. How do you fix that? Or if you disagree with that statement, tell me you disagree. I would love to have this. We're having a great conversation. We need more of this.
I wish I had an answer on how to fix that. I definitely agree with you on that, and I think that I feel like there's that one. Honestly, you have me stuck. I don't know how to fix it. I feel like even if we tried to go have a conversation right now, we have people of color here and of all ethnicities here.
She is saying the truth. There is, yes.
And so it doesn't make, that was kind of my point, is that it's not just white people out here, and we're not out here saying anything about Black Lives Not Mattering. It's people of all ethnicities, all genders, sexual orientations. We're all out here, and I don't understand where the divide is coming from and how they don't see that.
We're going to wrap this up. Savannah, what I would maybe like to do, let me ask you this. I'll ask this. If we had an opportunity to get you and say somebody from Black Lives Matter, sit down in a safe setting, meeting, right? We're going to have a moderator, and it's going to be like, let's stop yelling at each other, right? And we'll handle it better than the last two presidential. You have to admit, right? I mean, regardless where you fall, right?
Well,
that was a train wreck. Right.
And let me just also say, I feel like a lot of people here think we're Trump supporters. We leave.
No, I'm not assuming
not
that.
You. No, not you. But a lot of people do, and I just want people to know that that's not the case. We have people on both political sides here right now, and I think that's important for people to know too. That it's all walks of life.
I would really enjoy to get a voice from the other side and have the two of you, because you're one of the most open people I've talked to. I really appreciate it. I really do. And I think it would be great if we could get two people that could have a conversation and talk from both sides on what they're seeing. And maybe, and you know what, if we open up one set of eyes, then I think that's a win.
I think so too.
All right, then this is,
I'd be more than happy.
yeah, so this is what we're going to do, malcontents. I'm going to mute because we're going to be sharing contact information all, and I want to be very respectful of that. And I'm going to also turn this camera off. So we're going to go ahead and mute. I'm going to point the camera at the ground for a minute. I'm going to get this information, and I would love to get you on the show one day. All right.
They are human too, and yes, we
doesn't matter what color you are, what sexual orientation, what religion. We are all human. And you know what? God made us all. He loves us all. And regardless of the hate, I will continue to give you love. And we will only spread love.
You guys are gonna have to deal with a little more camera moving around stuff.
We cannot have peace until we start talking to each other instead of screaming at each other. We need to listen. I'm not screaming, I'm on a microphone. It's loud. And I did that on purpose. Okay. Well, what do you want? I can't bring my microphone.
You came all the way over here from Eastern Washington. Why don't you come over here?
When did you first start joining in terrorism?
When did you?
Do you know Jaden Grayson is here?
I don't know. I don't even know the name.
This isn't terrorism, dumbass. This is our first day on the road.
You're gonna die soon.
Yes, I do.
Make it a little bit sooner by putting on a mask and not getting.
Am I attacking or terrorizing someone right now? You're fucking stupid.
Well, things are chippy. I think it's the best way to describe it. It's another beautiful day in the office.
Katie's being camera shy. What's going on? Katie Daviscourt.
What's that?
Katie Daviscourt's being camera shy. She won't let me take her picture.
Where is she?
Right there.
Well, she's been trying to take my picture like crazy.
I know, she took my picture.
I've seen her like doing this, and I just look over, and I was like, oh, and then she walks away, and I'm like, you're not being clever. I love that she's has the Turning Point USA that little backpack thingy, the organization that's been racking up their accusations of campaign fraud and campaign manipulation. Not lost on me. All right, back to work. Oh, Katie, who loves stealing our content. So it's just hectic. If you're kind of like in the I can't look at your comments right now, but if people in the comments are like, point at this or point at that or what's going, it's as chaotic as it sounds.
It's never too late to. What is your narrative? We create our own reality. What do you support? Faith or fear? Love or hate? Purity or pollution? Where we resist persists. Silence is approval. The time is now. Unite, speak up, protect, preserve, sustain, no pain, reclaim, sovereignty, accountability, liability. We all breathe the same, and we all breathe the same. Support, that was the end of my poem, thank you. And we all support and love each other. I love you, and I love myself. Peace and
I don't know
love.
how well you can hear me. The reality is that both sides, whenever there's kind of one-to-one engagement, it's been really respectful. It may not look it. It may look really, really chaotic, And there's a lot of yelling and shouting going on. There's a lot of First Amendment going on. But with that said, if you kind of keep an eye on individual interactions, it's all really civil. The individual interactions are all very, very civil. And so it's
because they are criminals. They break the law, they destroy our businesses, and they want to defund our police to protect themselves. Oh, we look at Prestifa here. Prestifa's on the scene.
To be able to see that they were supported by their community, they are hated. They are being because they go along and they think that the community and they're not afraid to go out. They are
I don't know if someone got glitter bombed or somebody put glitter on themselves, or if someone tried to glitter bomb somebody, or if someone's trying to glitter bomb. I don't know. But there's somebody that has a bunch of red glitter. But if they were glitter bombed, they seem awful happy about it. So I don't think they were glitter bombed.
It has to be a two-party consent, and I don't believe any of us consent. We do not consent to be recorded anywhere.
So they go home, they have to worry, they do not take this bus ride home. Because they don't want people to know
Fuck Turning Point USA, Katie! Fuck you!
And that is what we need to hear. I started this because I had beautiful friends who stood for an amazing thing, supporting the law enforcement friends. And you know what happens when law enforcement over and over again, where they tell me their story.
Well, it's interesting. He stopped talking when we showed up. Had a little snarky comment to say, but then decided he didn't want to talk anymore. It'll be interesting to see if he starts up. So, are you? I'm pointing the camera away, but are you part of the Culp Caravan, or are you just Culp supporters, or because there's the Culp car caravan today?
Well, this is Defend the Blue, and I'm a Culp supporter.
Okay. So you're not with the Culp car caravan then?
Well, yeah, but that's a little bit later today.
Okay, got it. But they're not here, I guess is what my question was.
It doesn't start. Some of them are doing the caravan from other parts of the state.
Right.
And so, but we just decided to come here and do this.
Got it. Okay. That's all. I was just trying to figure out all the different groups. I'm trying to figure out what different groups are here right now. That's all.
3 o'clock is a big thing at Bellevue Park next to the mall. Where there'll be hundreds of people.
Okay.
So it's been planned for a while.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right, so, I mean, we've kind of filmed all different sides, and now we're filming the other side.
Some of them have been killed in the line of duty. Some of them are simply here to say,
So if you're just tuning in, we are live. We are in Seattle. There is essentially two, I guess we could say 2 and a 10th groups that are here. You have like an anti-defund group, but it's not the Seattle Police Officers Guild. It's not American Wolf. It's a different group that is organized. And We've interviewed one of the organizers of it. If you go back to the beginning of the Scream, there was an incident where there's one particular person, and for whatever it's worth, the people in the pro-police group were supportive when that incident, supportive of me when that incident was going on. And I'm not giving them any more props or whatever. I think it was very valid in that, you know, if somebody's going to come up and yell in my face, I'm going to go, hey, let's have a conversation. They're like, well, I don't want to have a conversation. And then you're complaining that I don't want to have a conversation. It doesn't make a lot of sense. The second group that you have here is the Black Lives Matter group here. This was organized by the ENDD group. But again, everything that's going on right now is it's peaceful. And I've seen some interactions between groups one-on-one, and those interactions have all been peaceful. As a matter of fact, we saw one, we caught it on camera, and there was some laughing and smiling faces and a little elbow bump afterwards. And so, I mean, I think what you're seeing here is a lot of exercising of the First Amendment on both sides. And yeah, it's loud, it's confusing, it's chaotic, but
Cops and the flag go hand in hand!
But at the end of the day, there isn't like anything wild or crazy going on.
On their side. This is all people on their side. Maybe 200 people are willing to convict, and yet they are scared course.
Nice repurposing of wheels on the bus, guys.
This is very, very wrong.
I know who Charlie Kirk
And
is.
that happens because of failure of government. That happens because our city council against them.
Everyone's favorite content stealer.
Our city council is trying to depolice the city and leaving us with no protection against people who take our constitutional rights away from us.
Nazis aren't cute. So why are you acting like that?
That's going to get better in the next few years if this trend continues. I can imagine a time when there's not a single cop on the streets of Seattle.
I have an immune system. I'm good.
Even this bad now. What's it like when there's not a single cop here?
I'm not wearing a mask because I'm a peaceful protest against stigmatization.
Yeah, grandma's live, doesn't matter.
I have a 99.98 chance of surviving COVID. I'm good. Even you have a 99.98% chance of surviving COVID. That's less than the common flu. All cops are amazing. ACAB, I love the police. ACAB, I love the police. I love the police. I love the police. All cops are awesome. All cops are awesome. We love the cops.
So again, I think the one thing here is peaceful engagement here. When being faceless,
guys, it's alright. I don't know what kind of person packs around their own urine in a spray bottle, but I can see him right here in front of me.
Anyone can. Here we go.
This one goes out to Spog.
I love the police. We love the police. We love the police.
I cover both sides. When this stuff's going on, I cover. Oh yes, I have gotten. There's plenty of video of everybody's favorite content stealer.
Turning Point USA.
I know. Everybody's favorite content thief, right there. We will probably be doing 2 to 4 hours. I know she doesn't like it. She can dish it out, but she can't take it. She can steal other people's content. We have to spend 2 to 4 hours of doing DMCA takedowns on our content when she uses it without permission. Sometimes scrubs are watermarks.
They're actually ashamed of what they're doing. That's why they cover themselves up.
People that watch me know I am very supportive of the First Amendment, both sides of the voice. When the reporters from the Daily Caller got arrested in Louisville, I publicly condemned their arrest. Because there is the right to the free press, and there is the right to voice. But there is a degree of decorum and professionalism that should include not stealing other people's content. Katie?
You guys are the ones using
Thank you for saying it. She steals everyone's stuff.
And also, Katie, walking around with your Turning Point USA backpack there, aren't they getting a deeper and deeper water for election fraud, election manipulation, hiring companies to operate bot operations to agitate and cause violence and to try to push violence? Isn't that part of what Turning Point USA is doing right now?
That's good. Inbred enough for you.
I'm here for a pro-police rally. You guys showed up at our event.
So I'm just going to call it as I see it. If you act like a chud, I'm going to call you a chud. Chud. Oh, that's going to be a great replay later. We can add all the chud clips.
I see a lot of trash before us right now.
I don't know if you just caught that. Somebody said, right after I said that, says, I see a lot of chuds. I mean, honestly, because again, if you were on the stream at the beginning and you watched the first 60 or 90 minutes of this, or 60 minutes or so, a lot of the people that were talking, this is a group largely here of more moderate voices than some of the other support the police or anti-defunding rallies that we have covered.
Step back a little bit. Just like you guys showed up to our event, you're showing up to my space.
It really is ironic that Katie doesn't want to be filmed. I find that unbelievably ironic. And I think it's also very, very ironic that she may be out here shouting All Lives Matter and not wearing a mask. Grandma's life does not matter.
So when people are upset and they're saying, you said make it great again, it was never great for some people. It might have been great for you. Amazing.
No, see, that's not true. I come from a multiracial.
Okay, there's a really good conversation going on here, and we need this.
It is the way you act, not the color of your skin.
When we go back to Martin Luther King, he wanted a world where people were judged by the content of their character and not the color of their skin.
Do you remember Bobby G? If you don't remember Bobby G, Officer Andrew Geiger came into his house and shot his arms. The way that
Sorry.
my marriage was planning. Do you remember the people like
Do you remember the children that black people are killing due to what you guys are feeling and thinking that all people are racist? You guys have it all wrong. You come at us because we're out here wanting to defend the police, because we're out here defending the flag. No, that's not true. We're out here defending everybody regardless. You guys are only defending people with dark skin.
I really wish I could have a conversation because what we're saying is valid. Wait, stop. I want to have this unnecessary, this freaking uncomfortable conversation. But what you did right now is what happens every single time. When someone asks you a direct question, you just deflected. I gave you 2 instances where after you told me it's the way that they act, not the color, not the color of their skin. An officer shot Botham Jean in his home while he was eating ice cream, not on the color of his skin. In his home. Wait. It was the way he acted, correct? You cannot agree to that. This is why they're saying it may have been great for you. You hold that flag and it is not triggering for you.
But it does. Everything triggers for me.
Okay.
You don't understand that. I may look white on the outside, but I'm mixed. I have black in me just like you do.
I'm not even talking about it. You're still deflecting.
But the thing is,
we are here talking about the police. I just gave you an instance where the police shot.
Okay, well, what about when a black man goes and shoots a police because he's wearing a uniform?
But wait a minute. But but there's been.
Everybody makes mistakes. It doesn't matter.
I wish you had not. I just wish you had not gotten on that stage and acted like you knew what you were talking about. Because I wanted to have this conversation, but you are not ready. You are not well informed. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're not well informed. You're not well informed. I'm sorry. Ignorance is no longer an excuse. We have survey. We have Google. Ignorance is no longer an excuse.
You're ignorant.
Please stop.
Did you hear about the black man that was a personal trainer? He stopped the domestic violence situation?
Did you hear about the 8-year-old girl in St. Louis that was shot by Black Lives Matter protesters? They keep going. Protesting
Exactly. There's people that are wrong on both sides. It's not everyone. Exactly.
Do you protest for them? Do you protest for her?
Realize people are condemned. People are condemned. Realize that.
It's too volatile to have a conversation, and I really want to inject myself in this conversation, but then I go out of my lane in this moment if I do. I will say this: whatevism is never going to solve this conversation. It's never going to solve this conversation. If somebody goes, well, what about this? And the response is, what about that? It resolves zero.
It's just acknowledging there are two problems and we have not
Right.
solved either.
And I keep saying, and again, longtime malcontents who have watched my stream will know I've said this over and over and over again. And you're witnessing it right here. There is agreement on the symptoms, right? If we talk about a patient in a hospital, and if these were doctors, these doctors generally agree with the symptoms. They generally agree with the disease. Where the agreement falls apart is what's the cure. That's where the agreement's falling apart. And this is just a perfect example of this, what's happening right here, right now, and what we just saw. You basically had two physicians going, here are the symptoms. And this is what we think the disease is. But then when it came to the point of the cure, it just falls apart in the what-ifism.
Hey yo, what it do? I just want to know why you guys look good.
So we are going to play.
We could do this shit through art and just rap. I know one of you that's here got some flows. I ain't trying to spread hate though. So if you want to spit, come and grab the mic and we can kick some bars off the top and just have a discussion. I don't give a fuck if you sucking on Trump's dick or what side you was on. I just want to fucking talk. Let's have some dialogue. We should stop all the hate. So someone come through. Look at this guy. I see the motherfucking flag on your hat. You look like an average ass dad. You got a fucking flag in your pocket. Yeah, I got the microphone, so we got some options. If you want to talk, come through. I see you up in all blue. Look at me, dog, cause I'm looking at you. My name is No Shoes. It's nice to meet you. Come through. Tell me why you are at a rally for the blue. Why do you defend police? That shit is fucking weak. They killing innocent people right up on the streets. I wanna know your side. Come give me your opinion. Even if it's different, I'ma motherfucking listen. Cause that's what we need. I'm not about hate. Come and grab the mic and we can have a damn debate.
Wow.
I don't rap as well as you do, but I have rapped a little bit. Well, first I say I appreciate this opportunity to conversate. I came here to back the blue, that's what I do. But I think if you're gonna ask, I'm gonna tell you how I really feel. It's real. Are you ready? I see a bunch of dudes here wearing black. It's scary as fuck. That's where all these people are at. Well, okay. We just came from a party. That's kind of how it felt to me. And then all of this got started.
people dying every day.
That's fair. Yeah. All right. So we gotta do it anyway. I think it's your turn.
Hey, you didn't even really rap. Come on, give me some bars, man. It's all good. He's nervous, guys.
Set aside our own pride and be able to hear the police, to hear what their cries are.
It's not. I'm having a dialogue with a random person I don't fucking know. All right, say what you want, dog. I'm willing to talk. You're stuck in a box. Alright, man. This. Hey, yo. See, that's love right there. You don't know what that feels like. Hey, yo. Alright, man. Hey, listen.
So that was really important to see. Those are the BLM protesters coming over and shaking this guy's hand and giving him props for standing up. It's important to see because, you know, we've heard this narrative, violent protester, and that's not what's going on.
You got water on your jacket. I don't support that because that was kind of mean, but it's all good. I just wanted to know why you defend police, SPD. That shit is lame. Dude, you can't rap. You got no art. You got a fucking belly sticking out more than your heart. You defend SPD, dog, because you live through hate. Yo, Cops in the KKK is the same shit. You can fucking tell that he's racist. Looking at his face, dog, I already know. You are fucking whack, homie. This guy is a hoe. I just want to talk to my motherfucking dude right here because he's trying to have a conversation. Blah, blah, blah. He's just living through hatred. Everything he's saying is some motherfucking fake shit. I don't give a fuck. He is just a shut. This is the definition of a fucking shut. He ain't living through love. This guy is fucking weak. Go home, dog. Don't get fucked by the police because that's what you want. This dude takes it in the back from the blue. That is fucking true. Yeah, you got a mask on and you overweight. You're a fucking lame. We cannot have an mate. I just touched you, dog. Why is you getting mad? It's probably because his life is fucking sad. His life is fucking lame. His wife doesn't like him. And it's true, dog. His kids want to fight him. Yo, get out of here. I'm just trying to talk, dog. Grow a fucking beard. What the fuck is that? Holy shit, dog. You're ugly. You can't even touch me. Grab the microphone and I'll bust that. Is this your chick? You better go home and go defend the fucking police. Yeah.
Oh, this is
This dude got small dick energy. It's like trying to motherfucking message me. Yeah, you should watch a real man. You don't want this dude, yo, he's motherfucking fat. I got a six-pack, baby. That's the truth. So go home, baby. Going back to fucking blue. I'm trying to talk to my man right here because he's smart. He's actually trying to have a dialogue at this part. So come on, dog. Step up to the mic. We can just freestyle and we can do this shit right.
It looks like our event's been taken over here.
Sorry, man. Sorry.
I'm not trying to take it over, but after I started thinking it over, this guy is actually trying to talk, and that surprises me. I've been hearing some things otherwise. I hear that you guys are out trying to break shit. I'm not with it, but I am here to talk. So I know I ain't got bars like you, but I am an average motherfucking dude.
People own the property. Okay. People own the property. They got insurance. Okay. It'll be alright. You can't take back life.
She said people over property. So why do you defend police? If they keep killing innocent people up on the streets and we get in more trouble for burning down buildings than they do for killing innocent civilians. Do you know that that's true? Come on, dog. That's the truth. It's a fact. You can look it up. They killing innocent fucking blacks and it's whack. I am not for that. I'd rather fucking burn down buildings than just take an innocent fucking life. And that's what the police do. And it's still fucking peaceful. But I'm glad that you talk, because this is how we do it, dog.
That's beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. And that's what we need more of. That was one of the most amazing things I have had the privilege to film. It was absolutely amazing. And there are people from both sides coming up and shaking hands. And
they shouldn't have that guy on the bike. That guy's a fucking whack job. Dead ass.
which guy?
Downtown fucking tweaking out. That dude's fucking whack job. I've seen that guy. The dude with the red jacket that's fucking on the mic.
Thank you for coming out and supporting our police. We love the cops here.
Well, things have definitely...
Back the blue. Back the blue. Back the blue.
And so now what's happened is one of the kind of no more agitator type figures is of course trying to agitate.
Back the blue. Back the blue. Back the blue. Back the blue.
And instead of embracing this really amazing moment that happened here just a little minute ago, we're now going to try and tear it down.
Back the blue. Back the blue. Back the blue.
And I want to call out what side is trying to tear down what was handshaking and hugs 3 minutes ago, and where it started.
The police are the ones that come and defend us.
See, and now the counter's going to come on the other side, and we're off to the races, so to speak.
And the great thing about the police is that they still show up when they're called.
Glad you guys are here. Thank you.
Who are you with?
MALCONTENTMENT TANGO. MALCONTENTMENT TANGO. That's National Lawyers Guild, Green Hat Observers.
You guys hear the words of this chant? If you burn down the precinct, who are you going to call when you're in need?
See, and again, this guy who's up on the, they're really agitating. If I use like the funky scale, it's literally like gone from a 1, like after that was going on, and then it's kind of gone, to like a 3.
Everybody hates the KKK. Everybody, and if they don't, who doesn't hate a fascist? Nobody likes fascism. Like, nobody likes fascism. Everyone's Antifa, really. Everyone is Antifa. Everybody's Antifa. Nobody likes a fascist. And why don't we focus on that? We can make everybody look better if we were so yelling. Everybody yelling just makes the other side
And now things will calm down again.
Fuck the police! All cops are bastards! 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 Fuck the police! All cops are bastards!
And then, I don't know, it just goes back to, I'm not going to let her live rent-free in my head. I'm not going with that comment. She is evicted, out. I'm not talking about Katie, Seattle's favorite content stealer.
With all the wanted property. Starbucks lives matter, right?
I guess here's my question. Starbucks had windows broken on Saturday, 16 people arrested in an hour. Black Coffee Northwest was attempted to be firebombed about 2 weeks ago. How many arrests have been in that? Oh, that's right, it's a big fat 0. No arrests in that. Despite multiple videos, right, and that goes back into, there's videos and stuff. Preppers! Hello, buddy! We need to, I know, it's terrible, isn't it? All the humans are just like, oh, wait a minute. We don't want to get tangled up, huh? All the humans are yelling at each other, and there's all these stress hormones, and I think I smell a couple of people might be sick. And you're just like, okay, you want to scratch me? You just like look right at me like poopers. Oh, why did you stop scratching? What's their name? Blue. Blue, you're kind of old, aren't you?
Pretty old, yeah, she's 13.
You're 13. Oh, you're such a sweetheart, Blue. We love the puppers on the Malcontentment Tango. Oh, absolutely. I always say, unless it's cultural, because there's some cultures that are afraid of dogs, right? But if you don't like a dog, there's something wrong with you.
Exactly. That's how you know. And she can tell. So.
Yeah, you're sweet. I know you're like, wait a minute. No, don't walk away. You got to scratch me some more. Okay. I got one more little scratch on the head. And I get back on the payroll. That's right. And like that, everything's just kind of calmed down again. Everything calmed down as soon as that one chud shut their pie hole. And everything calmed down after that. So.
Nice.
A lot of my elders are dying off with the COVID, but it's okay.
And
right.
I guess I've covered enough of these now that I'm starting to see a couple of familiar faces.
Right.
No, I
How you doing? Glad you guys are here. Glad you're here. It's another meteor. Hi. Sorry, I just realized it's like because I always try not to get the bike brigade. So sorry. I know this is a little. Yeah, this is a little different. Yeah. And I know some people are like, see, he doesn't film all. It's the bike brigade gets actively targeted, like literally active target. And the bike brigade, they're huge targets because they're the ones who are out on the road. So I guess the best way to kind of just to describe things, there's two groups, and occasionally things just bubble up a little bit. There's some chanting and some yelling. Things got a little more tense for just like a minute or two. And it's kind of settled down. The thing that's really a shame is there's this one dude, I don't know his name, I've seen his face, but I'm terrible with names. And they were really clearly kind of trying to stir the pot. And it was like literally right after this amazing moment where like almost everything was diffused, right? It's like there were people, and again, it's all on camera. People are fist bumping and shaking hands and hugging on both sides because music brought people together, and music is so powerful. And then there was just this one individual was just a total chud, was like, hey, we're not going to let that happen, basically. It just felt so off.
Several applications that in terms of policy that.
And it actually kind of looks like the number of protesters from both sides is starting to go down. It looks like some people on both sides are leaving. There's definitely less number of people that were here than were here before. I can't, I'm not with the station, no, I'm Malcontentment Tango.
With what?
I'm Malcontentment Tango.
Oh, okay. Do you have like a page or anything?
Yeah.
This is her? We're just curious.
Oh no, I'm having like a, woo! No, I was like totally having like a panic attack for a second because I was like, where's my other phone? Yeah, here, one sec. It's just always easier for me to show the page.
Is it on Facebook?
Yeah, we're on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Periscope, but you can just take a picture or you could just search for us right now.
Thank you. We were just curious. We always see you, so.
Yeah, okay. I know I don't have the big, things like this, I don't bring the big yellow pole because this is different.
Yeah.
So, and I had a feeling that both groups would be relatively small. But thank you so much. Well, that's much better than being asked and then getting yelled at. You'll have to go back and watch the beginning of the stream. Let's see what's going on. Oh.
That was good. That was good. That was good. Uh-oh! I wonder how scared she'd get if I just gonna get got! Do it!
Katie, hero of the proletariat. What's your name? Thank you for being out here.
Paint shop!
I was actually running.
Are you gonna get out of here now? You need a little bike escort? You guys on the bike
Funny that
I mean, the biggest beef, you know, is the stealing. For me, it's this, you know, okay, total chud. I guess that's number one. But huge content thief, number two. Huge content thief. And I know that there are people frustrated on both sides.
Twitter right up tonight by Katie. Katie, I do commend you for being on the ground more than that Andy No motherfucker. Like, at least you have the gumption to implant yourself in the black bloc. Still, fuck you.
Quit sharing shit with Andy No! Fuck Andy No!
She's not very happy about being called out. It's very ironic. Anyway, for those of you just tuning in, we are in Seattle. We are live. Hey, we're in Seattle. We are live. And there are two protest groups. There was a group that was.
Is that a perma scowl or are you actually scowling right now? I can't tell.
So, anyway, back to what I was saying. We were here. They started about at 11 in the morning, and that was a small group of 50 to 75 people that were here for a support the police rally, an anti-defund rally, and then a group of about equal number of Black Lives Matter protesters as organized by ENDD, but it is a mixed group. There isn't just ENDD people here. It is absolutely a mixed group. And they're backed up. There's NLG, National Lawyer Guild Observers are here. Bike Brigade is here. When they first showed up, things were everything's been peaceful. Can't stress it enough. It's peaceful, it's peaceful, it's peaceful, it's peaceful. And it's been peaceful. And I would go and ask that woman, but I know she's just gonna freak out. The one that got on my face earlier, it's like, so what exactly hasn't been peaceful here? But I know she's just gonna have a freak out. But this has been peaceful, both sides. There was this moment where everything was like practically diffused. And there was literally, and we were filming it, there were handshakes and fist bumps and hugs. There was some rapping. Yeah, there was definitely some scalding rapping going on, but it was amazing. People from both sides were laughing. and everything was good. And then, like within 90 seconds of that, a dude that's kind of, I don't know their name, somebody in the comments has probably already put their name up, and they're kind of a chud, and you know, they just kind of started spinning things up, and then it was, things started to feel a little tense, and now everything has just kind of descended back off.
Hey, raise your hand if you're a fan of this QAnon guy.
And so, and I would actually almost go, I love to know you're here with that all the time. And I would say that, you know, right now, it's about a 50-50. The groups are actually more, the groups are kind of more mixed together than people, I think, realize. They're standing together, and like here, you know, here's another one, right? This is a conversation that's going on right now, and we need more of this. And I've gotten into a couple of these where people from both sides are standing and talking to each other, and they're having good conversations. Here's another one with one of the organizers.
I would love to talk to somebody and have a conversation.
My mom is white, and my mom had sex with a
I'm not stopping you from talking. What are you talking
my mother's
about?
a fucking racist. And she's not an anti-racist.
About what?
Anyone
Who's
who's
having a conversation?
anti-racist is like sat down with the literature.
Oops, sorry. I'm so sorry.
Done.
I just stepped on someone's foot.
Excuse me.
I was wondering if we can open up, like, calm, peaceful dialogue.
I really wish, I don't know how much you can hear this, and
I would love to share how I feel about the Seattle Police Department,
But you would have to do a lot to prove to me that you are not racist. Right. Even if you do believe that you're not racist, you're still living under a system. If me and you are fighting in the street right now, and the cops roll up, who's going to jail?
Great question.
Who's going to jail? You're the one with the pistol. Even if you didn't have that shirt on, who's going to jail? This is what I'm saying. Like, white folks get the benefit of the doubt. And what y'all have to do is stop taking it so personally when we say there's this white supremacist system that this country was built upon. You happen to benefit from it. We can all be friends, but y'all got to admit that this is what's taking place so that we can move forward. We can't just pretend like we don't see race. I don't see color. How could you not see color? Color's beautiful. That's like walking into a field of flowers and being like,
no,
I
I agree.
These flowers. They all look the same to me. No. But so I'm saying, if you're saying, hey, you love old people, then I think that it would benefit you, not only with your relationship with your daughter, but also with your relationship with all the other people that you love, to not take the stance of the people who are funded by our government, who carry guns, who kill all kinds of people. The cops in this country kill more white people than they kill black people, but disproportionately, according to the percentages of our population, they kill more black people. They kill black people who have their hands up, who are unarmed, who are with their children. So how could you want to defend those people?
So here's, and this is fully my thought only. My daughter has come to me many times about the system of the police and how the police were started originally, and with the slave trade and right, exactly.
And they hired the poorest of the white folks to do that.
Right, exactly, to get the slaves back. And that is how the police organization originally started.
So you know this.
I do know this. I do. And I work very hard to hear my daughter's side, because how the hell am I going to expect her to hear my side if I'm not listening to hers, right? And educating myself, because it's important. I think that is wrong. If our overall law enforcement overhead has then their foundation is wrong.
The structure that they
However, I love
We're going to
my
open the
friend
mic
who
for some
is
open dialogue.
a law enforcement man. So that's why I stand here with the Defend the Police, because I stand for him.
But I know law
and I stand for them. And I stand for the individuals within the organization, not the organization.
They have weapons.
But what about you? I mean, so are you pro BLM, the organization?
No.
Or just some?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm for black liberation. And the liberation.
Check.
Disabled, queer, gay.
We have a guy with
women,
Black Lives
poor,
Matter
black,
who's going
children,
to have the mic first. His name is Chris.
And that is important.
But cops are not oppressed people, so I can't stand for them.
They're not. But
they're being targeted because they're doing fucked up shit. I'm not even saying that many, let's say 90% of the cops now joined because the propaganda that they saw.
All right, guys, let's listen up and let's hear what Chris with Black Lives Matter has to say. You're opening the mic for open dialogue, so if Antifa wants to drown out Black Lives Matter, you guys can leave.
Thanks, helpful comment.
What's up? I'm Chris.
Katie,
I don't give
we
a
can
shit.
always count on Katie
I'm
for
gonna let y'all know
helpful comment.
I am for abolition of the police force.
It's not a one-person thing.
I am for abolition and rebuilding. Because
it's a loose network of people who have similar ideologies.
I agree.
There's no memberships or dues
I 100% agree, and I've done my research on it and stuff. And that's why I asked about the BLM, the organization.
No, they're being funded by the one party system that we have.
Right, like I was
That is
saying,
controlling everything.
I am for abolition of the police force.
Yes.
Because I don't believe in reform.
So what they're going to do
Reform
is
does not exist.
Sorry, they're going to give
Because
respect.
this system was built on racism,
And we're not, I know you probably can't.
sexism, classism, and homophobia.
You know what?
There's
they're
no such
moving
thing
away
as
to have that
reform.
conversation. Oh.
I believe the police force needs to be destroyed and rebuilt by the community and the people. Because there's so many laws in place that it's been in laws in place since the 1800s. There's too many racist tactics. There's too many tactics when it comes to classism. Poor people are treated worse than people who have money. If you live in a minority or a poor community, we are over-policed. We are harassed on a constant basis. You will see more cops and officers in the South End and in the CD than you will see in Bellevue, in Medina, or in Redmond. There's less opportunity there. There's no opportunity in the South End and CD. There's no jobs. Like I said, Amazon ain't in the South End or CD, but it's in Bellevue. It's in Kirkland. Huh? No, crime is equal because half the arrests are drug arrests. And it's proven that we all consume weed at the same amount. But yet there's more of my people in jail for weed. But I'm saying, we need to hold these council members accountable. We need to be all over these politicians. And we need to get Trump out of office. We need to get the city attorney Dan Zuckerberg, whatever the hell his name is. We need to get him out of office because the way they treat our protesters. There's a protester that got arrested this past week, and his bail is higher than the officer in Auburn who killed the man. So, how for setting a dumpster on fire, my bail is way higher than somebody who committed murder. And that's racist practices in the system.
What's going on? Sorry.
I promise you, bro. I'm gonna be that one. You touch him and I'm gonna be that one. Take your fucking pepper spray, but if you touch him,
So, So what's going on is this is the guy that people were talking about earlier, on both sides of the protest. There were people talking on both sides of the protest saying like this guy shouldn't be here. And what's going on now is some of the Back to Blue people are. A couple of the Back to Blue people were kind of going after this guy.
Nobody threatened violence.
You're right. There's a couple of Back to Blue guys that were kind of going after this other individual. And here, and again, I just want to show that there is a lot of respect, and there is a lot of people on both sides that are defending each other on both sides.
People would not.
I want to find this entire time. I love this space to talk about this. Like, what happened is that somebody was trying to make me get off the microphone. And they kept, then they were trying to make me leave the area.
I can't get in to get it. I don't have.
And then somebody was standing up for me. Somebody was standing up for me.
Not cool.
But you should, because this whole thing was revolving around me. This whole thing was like, literally, it literally was, it erupted literally above me.
Blue lights don't exist, nobody's gonna come.
There's a lot of pushing and shoving going on. Not related, just everybody's trying to get in, get the shot. And as people who watch me know, when it kind of gets to that point, I'll try to get the shot, but sorry. Future Crystal's getting the shot.
Don't touch it. Do not touch it. No, you're not. Get out of my bubble. Yes. Well, tell them not to. I'm against that. I'm against it. If it's crabby behavior, I don't care who's doing it. Why can't I show
Hey, you guys want to continue the discussion? The whatever happened is over. Do you guys want to continue the discussion or talk?
I was streaming the press, and the Venmo just kicked over. I watched you when you came. The first thing you did, you went up, got on stage, and you were trying to provoke people. You were being provocative. Yeah, but I don't. I'm here accepted at this event. I wouldn't get up on the stage when someone's trying to speak, man. No, I think you should be able to film. But I watched you, man. You were walking around kind of menacing people. Yeah, you should be able to film. I've stood up for you guys to film before. I think you should be able to film. I watched you. You were kind of walking around, kind of menacing people a little bit. You were kind of walking up to You don't have to tell me, man. I'm not What a day, huh?
Well, I think what it's just kind of devolved to is everybody has their cameras out. Like everybody. So basically what happened, I'm going to walk around the other side here. Basically what's happened is there was an individual, there was some comments going on around me from both sides. That like, this guy shouldn't be here, he shouldn't be trying to speaking. And some of the Back to Blue people were trying to either push this person out or take their equipment. And things got pretty tense, but it appears it's settling down. But what's a shame is, here was these conversations going on for you know, we were filming this amazing conversation between two people on both sides. One of the organizers of this event, and that's been blown up. It's just been completely blown up. And the thing is, this is why I say you need to film all of it. The before, the during, and after, because we should only film when it becomes a shit show. If you only film the shit show, then all you see is the shit show. And I probably got lots of eyeballs like every other streamer right now because, oh, shit show. But what they're not seeing is the peaceful conversations that were happening right before a couple of people, and I'll call it out again, they were all white. A couple of people, all white, start getting a little pushy-shovey, and now, like, it's off the rails. Not off the rails in the sense that, like, but there was all of this good conversation going on, and it's just friggin' derailed.
And you don't even go to jail? It's like, what, get a gun?
No, you're fine, you're fine.
Don't have to protect the people who hired you to protect them.
People are actually talking.
Yeah, and I'm like hearing another streamer saying the exact thing I'm saying, that people are actually talking to each other, and people are trying again to have these discussions. And there's been some great discussions that have been happening. And it's like 10 or 20% of the people are fucking it up for like the 80% of people that really want to sit down and have a conversation. I see more people that want to have a civil conversation than I see people that want to yell in each other's faces. That's what I'm seeing. And I'm seeing more people, and it's just this handful of people.
Damn.
Listen, you act like you got special rights. Fuck them. Don't talk about you either. They don't care about China. They don't care about your people. They don't care about none of that. I don't know if you're Chinese or not, but you already know what's
Registration, license, whatever, yeah.
Listen, they don't give a shit about you. You know that. Yeah, they don't give a shit about you. Okay, they don't care about your people. They ain't gonna give you no grants.
Okay, no, I have a story.
No,
I have a story. I got stopped one time because they thought I looked like a guy that stole a truck. I got stopped in Bellevue. And they questioned me. They kept me there for like 2 hours.
But you standing there. Release your fucking gear. You're fucking here.
Because
Let me
I complied.
What are you defending? What are you standing for?
Let him tell the story as if we're listening to
Absolutely.
you.
Can I please? I really want to hear what you say. No, I really want to hear what you say. What are you defending? If you're just saying that they pulled you over, they profiled you and all that, so what are you doing?
No.
I just want to know what
but that had
defending.
nothing to do with what I stand for here.
Okay. So can you tell me what you stand for?
I stand for peace. I want everyone to have justice. Okay.
All right. So can you tell your
I want us
friends
to get along.
So the friends you hold, the police that you're defending, do you speak to them this way? Do you tell them that? Yes.
I will.
So you didn't even tell them that. You come in here, you talk about peace.
Okay.
I got it.
Bye.
You guys actively support fascism, because you guys have had Proud Boys amongst your ranks when you come out to these events before, and Proud Boys have actively threatened to kill me. So I just want to know, like, you guys.
Hey, it's an interesting day at the office. Yeah, I've seen, it's a shame, I've seen a lot of people are trying to break off and have conversations. I've seen more of it than I've ever seen before, and it seems as though every time it starts to get diffused, a couple of people, it's just a couple of people, and they take it just off the friggin' rails, and the conversations all break up. And I'm kind of frustrated. I'm just like,
it definitely doesn't feel effective. The conversations don't actually feel effective either way, though. You know, like.
But they're talking. It's the first time I have seen in months
100%.
where people are talking and they're listening. They may not be agreeing, but I feel like they're talking and listening. Well, again, we may film it. Doesn't mean we agree with it. We film it. Doesn't mean we agree with it. You were talking to one of the organizers. I'm going to mute for a minute, folks. All right, we're back. And we are going to be.
We're going to stay
Yeah,
connected.
yeah. No. Yeah, well, then we're going to do it here. We're going to do a Zoom later.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
I'm
We're gonna
demuted.
stay connected.
Yeah.
Let me take a picture.
Yeah, you take a picture of the press. It's all over the internet anyway. There's the story
So I can
behind.
make sure I find you.
Yeah. I will reach out. All right, so great news. I have agreement from both the organizers of the event and that woman who was having a great conversation to come on the show. And we're going to set it up. I can't say like when, but we're going to set up. I don't know what happened. Everybody ran in this direction. Both sides. So I have no idea what just happened. So what happened? All I just saw is I was talking to someone. Everyone just ran.
Homeboy, Lieutenant Dan over there was walking backwards.
Yeah.
And someone spit in his face and he batoned the umbrella, and then things got a little
Things
heated,
got a little, okay.
But seemed to calm down a bit now.
All right.
They were going after, I think Black Bloc was going after Katie Davenport, which is what brought Lieutenant Dan in.
Got it.
Which is what.
So it's spinning up. It's spinning up.
Yeah, it's gonna close.
All right, so there you go. That's what happened. Oh, so disappointing.
45 or 50 or maybe even 60. I don't know. But you look really bad. Katie, you're 26. Why do you look 50? Back it up.
Katie?
Stop doing it. Why is your homie all the way over there? Oh, Lieutenant Dan is helping us. Wait, are you trying to talk to me? Oh no, I'm so scared. Come on, guys, alright, cool. Oh, what power? Was that what that was? Hey, look, that's he's over there trying to. They're definitely trying to come and do this now. You stood up with somebody. Oh, you better run. Get the fuck out of here, all of you. Get the fuck out of here right now. Go back over to the bike cops and get protection right now.
Yeah, get your protection. You need it. You need that protection. Go home to daddy.
Oh, you tired of it? Don't worry.
Get the fuck out of here, Katie.
Over here with the blonde hair. Her name is Katie Davenport.
She's 26.
She got her popularity on Twitter by talking to people who were protesting in the name of Black Lives Matter. Oh, report assault. Oh, she's so sad. Are you crying? I feel really bad, Katie. Really bad. A sweet 27 day? Katie got pocket law. We were having civil discourse. Katie, as an outside advocate, because that's what she does, decided to come over with her little security guard buddy, who's brandishing a weapon, in front of a group of people who won't stand up for that.
Is it legal to have guns in a park in Washington?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because I mean, you would think there would be a rule against it.
It's not legal technically.
Yeah, because I mean, he was literally
You can't be by children.
Yeah, that's what I would assume.
Children, libraries, or libraries, parks. Anyone that's posted, it's posted at parks too.
That's how it is in like every major.
You're not supposed to ask for a legal.
So there you go. It's Can one of our so the question is on, can you open carry in the state of Washington in a park? Can one of the mods, editors, or admins look that up for us? Because I don't know what the answer is. I am very 2A friendly, but I refuse to carry when I am in a journalistic role, because I think it goes completely against, and it's unethical, and it goes against being a journalist.
Shut the fuck up. Where's your Soros check? Who is funding this? Who is behind your guys' funding? I need to find that out right now.
Now, that's a really good question, right? Because there's a lot of questions about Turning Point USA and Turning Point USA's involvement in the 2020 election, including Turning Point USA's involvement in spreading misinformation, working with marketing organizations to spread dissent, push an agenda of hatred, and push an agenda of misinformation. And Katie's walking around with the Turning Point USA a backpack on. So I think the question of, hey, who's paying Katie, I think is a very valid question.
Bring me the bell with defund. You love your Katie. Yeah, you did it. Defund the police. Bring the bell with defund. You got to lose your job. Give us back our taxes. I don't speak big. Look at that.
It has been a very interesting day at the office today. Yeah. That's for sure.
To say the least.
This has been like an emotional roller coaster. This is for me.
For Katie.
Well, Katie definitely.
Oh, my Lord.
But there's just been moments where I'm like, wow, this is beautiful, right? People are, right? Some really amazing, and then there's just been some moments like, oh, what the fuck? And then there's Katie.
Hey, we need to figure out who her hype man is and why they so slept on, because she's going hard. Her hype man with the brown or orange hair goes very hard.
Going away. Defund the police.
Well, and you know, my biggest beef is she's a massive content thief.
Right.
She is a massive content thief, and she scrapes off watermarks, misappropriates content, and you know, I know one of the protesters yelled at her, said, "Look, I'll give you a little more credit than Andy. No, at least you're willing to come out here," and that's true. I guess I'll give her a point for that, because Andy knows an even worse content thief.
I got a picture with her finally. I'm her biggest fan, dude. Finally got a picture with her.
Yeah, fucking snowflake!
So there's a group, I don't know, about 10 or 15 SPD bike officers have been staying outside of the park, I guess. I have no idea actually how long they've been here because we've just walked here.
That's what you do. You collect.
Move back! Move back! Move back!
Very, very common. Very, very common protester chant. The move back thing is kind of a mocking. It's a mocking chant because SPD says move back in the protest. So that's why they're doing it. They're handing it back. They're handing it back.
Katie, that's good. Are you getting a number? Do you remember when you said you were the Nazi?
That cop was just waiting for the report.
You are literally talking to a Nazi.
Do you need a safe space?
Yes.
Blue lives don't matter. Nobody's going to talk.
So we're gonna go ahead and see what's. Although I think what's happened now is in a sense, I kind of think Katie got what she wanted, in a sense, because it looks like everything is just kind of dissolved. We need more pup love after that. Blue! Blue, how are you, sweetheart? Blue, can we get a little more pup love from you, sweetheart? Oh, a little more pup love from the Blue. This is Blue. Blue was on the feed earlier. Blue. Blue's like, hello, human. You got food? You got food, human? No, I have no food, Blue. Sorry. I keep saying I'm gonna put some dog treats in the.
Oh yeah, you do. Oh, but they'll be all over you.
I know. Why are the dogs always on the malcontent? Bye, Blue. Look at this smile on that face.
She was posing.
Totally posing. Well, I'm here, move back chance over here. I'm hearing move back chants from over here, but I don't know who that's directed to.
Yo, thanks for coming out.
Yeah.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you too. Yeah. See, some people are happy to see me. We've streamed every minute. Everybody saw everything. I'm streaming right now. Do you want to talk for a minute? I would love.
Sure.
It's up to y'all. Okay. So we're streaming live. I always say you don't have to use your name if you want. I generally tell people if you want to use your name, just use your first name, because both sides, people, right? Both sides. You know that. So, but if you don't want to use names, that's fine. I want to just talk for a minute about what I observed, because you said make sure you get. So I've been streaming since 11:06, everything. And one of the things that I saw is I saw people, either in individuals or in small groups, trying to break into groups from both sides. And we filmed actually some really good conversations that were going on. And what I noticed was, it wasn't like the same people, but it would be like a couple of people would, and then like it would just kind of crumble apart, right? And, you know, or someone stirring the pot, and then people would try to break up in the groups. And then honestly, I don't know the whole story of what happened here, because I was interviewing someone, but we did get the story, but I didn't see it, but somebody told me. So what are your thoughts? I just gave you my thoughts. So what are your thoughts?
Well, you know, we came out here to defend the police because we need
I'm just gonna hold it out.
Okay. What I don't like is the fact that they had to come and ruin our positive protest, and they had to come with violence, you know, and intimidation, and that's not the way to get things done. You know, we all need to come together without this intimidation and get it right, because I sure in the hell don't want to live in a third world country. I sure in the hell don't want to live like this and watch my back every time I go out the front door. I have grandkids that are growing up, and this is not the country I want them to grow up in. It needs to change. The criminals need to change. They need to be held responsible, and the police department needs to be held responsible for their mishaps. And yeah, change does have to happen, but it has to happen on both sides.
Y'all want to do some back and forth?
This is what I mean by how people come and they just interrupt and
People
everything
be interrupting all their lives,
They
yo.
don't want
People
so.
interrupt
They don't
all
want
their
change.
lives.
They don't
This is
want
America,
your
freedom
voice
of
heard.
speech.
It's
I can
their
interrupt
way or
all
no
I
way.
want. Donald
And
Trump,
this
you
is
probably
what's
support him.
wrong.
How many
And
times did he interrupt?
Trump,
148
2020,
times.
definitely.
Interrupt.
Definitely.
Trump,
2020.
Oh, shit.
And these are what we get to leave our America to, is these people like this, doing this kind of crap and not having respect for other people.
So there's a lot to unpack right into like the last 90 seconds. There is a ton now to kind of unpack there. So
This guy's got this little baby here in a stroller, and you've got this going on right next to these babies in the stroller.
I let your kid go by.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
are you
really,
teaching here?
really,
What are
really,
you teaching this
really.
little baby?
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we care
You're
about
a
Black
winner.
lives.
We care about Black lives, and now you're fucking interrupting shit.
Our
You're
side is not
criticizing
fucking
me,
funny at all.
criticizing me
It's
for
not funny.
interrupting.
You're
That don't
pretty
matter.
funny.
All you could have, Karen number one and Karen
So you
number
already
two.
have to go
All
to
you
game
could have
call.
said,
Yes,
all you could have
you're
said,
laughing. You're laughing.
all you could
I'm
have said
laughing
was
because
no.
you're idiotic.
Yes.
We're probably smarter than your kids, lady.
You're literally supporting people who are shooting people for no fucking
I'm
reason.
supporting the American flag.
Fuck yeah, we do too. I love America.
That's
I love America.
You fucking idiot. You don't fucking worship a flag.
I love America.
Flags, borders, they don't mean shit. In one world,
piece of cloth.
one world,
No, hey,
we're all the
hey,
same.
I'm so sorry your mom did not do a good job on
Yeah,
educating you.
Shame. It's shameful.
You're a moron.
My mom's great, and she loves
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
Really
And
though.
how did
You
this
gotta go right
happen?
to the mother joke.
Hey, no, it's okay. I told him I'm smarter than their kids. I told him I'm smarter than their kids.
Fuck you, Karen. Black lives matter.
It's okay.
They just love their position in the
Yo,
status quo.
shout outs to all the fucking people out here. We wish you the best. You know, I just wanted to have a discussion. They laughed at me instead of saying no, so I interrupted them. I apologize for your tape, sir. Have a good one.
There it is. The white privilege.
White privilege. Right there.
She thinks we're making
Don't chip,
sense.
chocolate chip. Hey.
All you can do is laugh.
Because I think it's funny.
Just cops rolling up.
This is who we want running our country.
Yeah, this is not who I want to defend us.
They don't even know. What's your degree in, smarty pants? What's your fucking degree in? What did you go to school for, bitch?
I went to school.
What did you go to school for? I asked you a question. Do you not understand? You know my wife. What did you graduate with?
I graduated with a piece of paper.
Now,
Yeah,
what are you doing
see?
with your life?
You don't even fucking do nothing for a
doing with your
fucking.
life?
Go fuck yourself.
What
All
I'm
you
doing
do
with my life is
sit
standing
here
here
and
holding the American flag.
You don't even
showing
study.
respect for my country.
Yo, I don't think they're worth having this
I raised
conversation.
respectful children.
That's
so yourself.
My children are very respectful and they serve.
Your mother.
I don't care.
You probably haven't done anything for anybody.
I have done shit for people. You don't know my life. You don't know me at all.
But
Yeah, but
yet you're still here calling me a
You're
bitch.
calling me American
These bitches
flag.
aren't worth it.
I'm an American.
Yeah, go
I'm on
get
American soil.
Yeah.
I'm holding an
American
American
education
flag.
system has failed everyone. 100%.
There's
Go to the
Canada.
fucking-
There's Mexico.
This land is
Bye.
stolen and we will be gone.
Oh,
Mexico built your shit. Mexico fucking built your shit.
there's Mexico. There's Canada. Go there if you hate
Learn
America.
to speak
Ayo,
another
ayo,
language,
ayo,
you
ayo.
fucking ignorant
Ayo.
shit.
Je parle plus français. Aujourd'hui, n'est-ce pas? Comment allez-vous?
Free mental health care. That's what we
Tú
need.
eres una
Free
puta
mental health
madre.
care.
Necesita más
So you want to say
escuela.
I can't speak another language?
If you don't like our country, get the fuck out.
Yo, no, how about this? How about this? How about this? You
Why?
want to know what? You want to know what real patriots do? They
She's
change
been
shit.
Iraq,
They get rid of people
Pakistan.
They change
She's
shit.
fucking injured.
They change shit.
That's why we're here.
They change
chose
shit.
to
You're
do it.
fighting for the
Yeah,
status quo.
she chose to
You
protect
are
this,
fighting
to
for the
protect
status
us
quo.
standing
That's
here.
why it says back the blue. You
For
want
you to
what
stand here
continues to happen.
and do your
Listen,
job
this
like you're
fucking
doing.
gun is not worth
That's
it.
what my daughter
This
has done
fucking-
for America. For you, actually.
I don't give a shit.
No.
Fuck you, daughter.
My husband has done the same
My
thing.
husband as well.
You should have swallowed your daughter.
Fighting for you. Not worth it.
Yeah, you really must
Swallowed that bitch.
Get an education.
I'm gonna get an education on your fucking dime when socialist college comes to the world.
Well, leave the world to be a better place.
Seriously though, she probably got molested down there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
look up
whatever.
military and molestation cases. Do yourself a favor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although I'm sure
Look,
that
you women are braver than me.
So,
Yeah, right?
so I'm going to shift my question because this kind of ties into what I started talking about before we started talking. And I'm just going to tell you, as a person who sat here swinging the camera back and forth and listening, right? In that interaction, I don't see like either side is faultless. Is faultless. It evolved into a shouting match. We can get into the whole they started it, who start right. how do we get past this polarization? That's the question I want to get. That's what I want to get to, right?
Well, it starts with respecting each other. They came in, and instead of being nice and cordial about interrupting us, they just interrupted and wanted their side heard only, and unfortunately, yeah, we had to raise our voices. But it's not going to stop. You're not going to get anywhere if people don't let everybody speak their whole sentence before somebody interrupts.
But I guess it's not about the shout. It's the word. I'm asking more about the words. And here's the thing, you're in the moment, right? So it's just they're in the moment, you're in the moment. So everybody's just saying stuff. I think if all of you, and they're not here, so don't take it as I'm directing at you. I seriously think if I play this video back to all of you individually, so not you don't get in it right. 3 months from now, I think everybody would be kind of like, would cringe a little. I do. I really honestly do. And I'm saying that as somebody that I am just objectively watching this right now. I'm not interjecting anything. And so it's about the words. How everyone got, it's so overused. Everyone got triggered. Like I saw when their buttons got pushed. I saw when your buttons got, like I could go back and go, boop, button push, button push, button push. And then after, there were 5 or 6 people here, and after all 5 or 6 people had their buttons pushed, that's where I think everybody would go, I shouldn't have said that, right? If you played it back 3 months, objectively, right? If I showed it to you tomorrow, you're still going to be, ah! But if you give it some time and you pull yourself out of the moment, because you see this happens to people, right? They say something and then it gets played back and they're like, ooh, that's cringy. And I'm not saying it, just how do we get past this? Because we've got to get, I'm going to see let me do this. I'm going to give it right back to you. I said this to someone else. If you look at things that have happened in Portland, if you look what's happened in Louisville, if you look what's happened to a lesser extent, what I'm talking about, well, yes, we could say Seattle. We could say Seattle. What I'm talking about is, and I don't want to get into the things. People have died in Kenosha. People have died in Louisville. People have died in Portland. People have died in Seattle. You have people showing up heavily armed, both sides, more so from the far right than the far left. Very heavily armed. I will flat out say what I've told other people here. When people are in the pickup trucks with all the guns and all the flags, the optics of that, it looks like the Taliban. The optics of it. She's nodding her head yes, and I see you're disagreeing, and that's fine. We got the thing.
Hey, we're allowed to disagree.
Totally.
Because you know what? I would be doing the same damn thing right now as be packing.
Yep.
But
that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about something very, very specific. I'm not talking about
with the firearms.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I did it as a kid. We do it now, especially hunting and whatever. But I'm not.
I'm not talking about going into hunting. I'm talking about driving. I'm talking about driving around in downtown Portland and hundreds of vehicles parading with the American flags and stuff.
Then. If you're doing that, you're looking for trouble. You're instigating trouble.
We're on the same page. She's nodding her head. Yeah, I think you're missing something. I think because I see you nodding yes.
Am I missing something?
I think I don't know. Is she? Help me. If I'm missing it, tell me I'm missing it.
I mean, I think if you're going around doing that shit and bringing stuff to start aggravation, yeah, you're in the wrong. And you shouldn't be doing that. I did come.
Yeah, and I'm 2A friendly, straight up. And I was actually saying that. You can go back to the stream. You'll hear me talking about that 10, 15 minutes ago. So how do we let me get back to the question. How do we get past this polarization? How do we get to a place where we were having more of the conversations that people were trying to have?
We need to get different leaders. Because they're not wanting to listen to anybody.
We need people to show up that are going to listen.
And have an open mind.
When CHOP happened and Jenny and she got a whole bunch of city people, city leaders of the communities, gay communities, black communities, and she wanted to have a round table with all these people. BLM didn't show up. They were told what time, what place. They didn't show up. They didn't want to hear the facts. They didn't want to work on it. They didn't want to attend. Well, so much good could have come out of that, right? You had gay leaders, you had church leaders, you had city leaders, you had the council, Jenny, a huge group full of people, and Black Lives Matter just didn't show up.
Do you support Jenny Durkin?
I don't.
Okay. Well, I think it's a valid, right? Because she's talking about. I think it's a fair question.
I do
Oh,
not.
it was a fair question. I just sorry.
No, I do not. But
I mean, for the record, you don't know who I am. I've said many times, I think if you go to the 50 largest cities in the United States, I think Jenny Durkin is probably the most hated mayor within the 50, right? On both sides. I think like the whole city hates her, regardless of your political stripes. See, there's something that everyone agrees on right there. There's one. We all hate Jenny Durkin.
Right? But they were making their demands. So Jenny set up this council meeting with all the city people to talk to the Black Lives Matter, to work it out, find out what they want, see if we could negotiate something, get money into their programs that they want, blah, blah, blah. They didn't even show up. It's like, are you kidding me? Everybody took time out of their day, but Black Lives Matter couldn't show up. They didn't want the change.
Yeah, I can see you're like, she is, she's not out, she is literally physically shaking. So if you don't see that on the camera, it's not a cop-out. I was actually just gonna say, like, you look really cold. And her face is red, and it's not at this point it's angry. She is straight up legit really freaking cold. So, and there's basically nobody else around us anyway. So I really thank you two for your time.
I hope you get that answer. What can we do?
Well, we have to figure it out, the answer, because it gets back to my point of that I started to make, that we're basically an open sectarian violence in the United States at this point, and you need both sides to have the sectarian violence. We don't want to continue down this path because it goes to a really dark place that I really don't think anybody with sensibility wants to go.
Civil war.
Yeah. Yeah. And the fact that in the last 60 days that we're actually willing to say it out loud, not think it, on both sides, is terrifying.
It is terrifying.
And people should be more because a lot of people are just it's like, no. So I thank you two. Thank you so much. Go get warm. All right, I got to put my mic back on. And it's going to take me just a moment to put the mic back on because it is cold. My fingers are so stiff. I don't know. This has been a roller coaster today. I mean, it's just a huge understatement. There's literally like everybody's left, nobody's here. This has been a roller coaster. Because I've seen some really beautiful things today. I have actually seen probably some of the most amazing, beautiful acts between two protest groups since I've been covering this. And I've seen some pretty horrible things today. Nowhere near the most. I've seen really horrible things in the past. There's certainly nothing here that's going to have me go home and go stare into the corner and drink beers and pet a dog for a couple hours bad. But I've seen ugliness today. And it just, there's so much to unpack. I really would like to get David from Safe Seattle, and I would love to have a conversation with him because there's a number of things that he was talking about where I kind of really feel like he was positioning himself and his organization as victims in some ways, and I disagree with it. And we know that people within that group, I don't want to say, we know they dox people. We know it. And they put people in unsafe position. So then if they're doing that, then I just don't feel that he has any ground to stand on.
All the black jazz musicians had to go into the other door. All the white musicians went in the front door.
And I'm not saying that was right. It was wrong.
So you don't think what's wrong right now?
I think this world is fucked up the way it is.
And it doesn't matter if you're black or you're white or you're Asian or Hispanic. The whole world is fucked up.
Look, love, this color, when I walk outside, everywhere I go, someone's looking at me. I gotta worry about my children's children and their children's children. That's very
But
imperative.
that is not how I look at you.
Well, love, that's not how they look at us. That's not how they look at us.
Like that.
I can't say all of them. I can only speak of what's happening now.
Right.
I'm saying that we're dying right now. We're dying right now. We're sitting here and everybody's picturing us and putting us on websites. We're fucking dying right now. I'm worried about my children and my children's children and my children's 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 children. But your children, you're good to go. You're good to go. You can walk outside and you can have white privilege all fucking day. You're good to go. You can go, you can have the proper education that black people have lack of education. You go into school and they tell us something that Christopher Columbus discovered America. All the other bullshit. That's not true. We are original, true black men, black women, kings and queens, that you come from us, the original people. Don't get it twisted. Knowledge is knowing the ledge. Wisdom is to wise the dumb. We are here to give you knowledge and to wise you. Freedom, there's no freedom for black people. You're dumb to think you're free. This is America, from day one. The day we were brought over here, today that's happening right now. You think because we had a black president, things change? Who are you fooling? Who are you fooling? I have to worry about if my kids are gonna be okay to go to school. I'm gonna have to worry about if my kids can be educated in school. I'm gonna have to worry about once when they wake up or my children are hiding behind trees because they see a cop. Come on, love. Come on. Do your history. Read a fucking book from beginning to end. Because if you don't know, we know where we come from. So by you sitting up here and telling me that all people are not bad, I'm not hearing that. I'm not hearing that. Yeah, I'm mad. I'm frustrated. I'm angry. My mother tells me that she's worried about me. No mother should have to bury their child. Do you believe that?
Yes, I do.
No mother should have to bury their child. No black mother have to bury their child.
No, any colored mother
I don't
should
give-
ever have to bury their child.
Bro, we're dying
You
every
don't know
day.
my life
We're dying
or what
every
I've
day.
been through.
You're dying
I have
every
buried
day.
a fucking
We're dying
child.
every day. We're dying every day. Are you dying every day?
No, my daughter died.
I'm sorry to hear about that, love, but we
And you know
are
what?
dying every day.
Yeah, and I know that. And if you think that I don't feel for that, you are wrong, because no parent should ever have to lose their
So
child.
if you feel that way, why are you wearing blue, love?
Because my boyfriend is a proud Seattle police officer for 30 plus years. And I believe in what he does because he would rather go up to someone with compassion. And if there is someone that wants to be heard on the street, he will go up and he will buy them a cup of coffee or a sandwich. Because he knows that they want to be heard, and it doesn't matter to him what color skin it is. He treats people with respect and compassion. Just because he wears a badge doesn't mean that he doesn't. He is a good man.
Out of few, there's still mad rotten apples.
I know that.
So demolish all, I say 150% defund the fucking police. 150%.
Because what's going to happen if that happens? Then this world is going to go to shit.
Let me tell you
You think it's bad now? It's
Hold
going to
up,
get 10 times
Hold
worse.
up, love. Let me do a little knowledge on you. There's 12,500 people that are homeless. There's 41,000 children are homeless. The sex trade is the #1 sex trade in Seattle. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? There's more homeless people than fucking in New York. Y'all living lovely here. Y'all
You don't
fucking
live
kidding me?
here. You don't know where I
I don't
live.
give a fuck where you live at.
See, clearly.
I don't give a fuck where you live at, because you know what I worry about? I worry about my children. I worry about my brother's children. I worry about the homeless people. I worry about the sex trade. I worry about the black man, the black woman, the child. that the original people, the mother of civilization, that you originally took from us, that you raped from us, that you took from us, that you threw us over boats.
To you.
Your forefathers did.
And
you're
that
still,
is not my fault.
Oh, but you live in the luxuries of our juices. We made fucking America.
From slavery.
We made fucking
Who
America.
benefited from slavery?
You living from
Who
our
benefited
juices,
from slavery?
From slavery.
Ask
You're
the question.
living lovely.
So-
That red, that green, that yellow light that's up there that y'all motherfuckers stop every fucking day. It's the red that the blood that we shed. The yellow's from the gold that you took. The green is from the fucking motherland that you call American free. And you have the fucking audacity to come up to me and bow wow and cry? Man, get the fuck out of here.
Wow.
You don't know who you dealing with. You dealing with a real true black man. I'm God-fearing. But when you come against my people, you're damn right I'm taking you fucking out.
I didn't do anything to you.
I don't know you and I don't give a fuck. But what I do know is about my people. Until you've been in my fucking Timberland boots and felt the pain that my mother, my father, my brother, my sister been through, I don't know what the fuck you talking about.
You can start by educating yourself. You gotta educate yourself from your history, who you are, where you came from, what your people did, what role did your people play in history. You gotta do that knowledge. We got knowledge of ourselves. We know what happened. This is why we're here. But you gotta do your knowledge and find out where you came from and where your role played in that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it might not have been you, but it was your forefathers. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is.
You think I'm proud of my ancestors and what they did?
You gotta eat
because
that.
I'm not.
You gotta eat that though. You gotta eat that. And this is why you're here feeling the way you are. And this is why he here feeling the way he is. You know what I'm saying?
And how do we
It's an
get past
emotional
this?
thing. You know what I'm
And
saying?
how
This
do we
is a
get past
monumental
this?
shit that's going on, not in just this country,
'Cause
in this universe.
here's
You know what I'm
something-
saying? In this world, all over. We not just having this fight here, it's being happening everywhere.
Worldwide, baby. Worldwide.
The pain of both these people is palpable.
It's going to start with you. When you go to sleep every day, when you wake up every day, you're you. So you got to start with you every day to find out who you are. You know, look yourself in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? Are you aware of the disparities that's going on in this world? And what are you doing to either better the situation or make it worse? You know what I'm saying? Are you outreaching to your people who look like you? You know? I'm
I
just saying
outreach
though.
to people
You
who
know?
look like me, who don't look like me, because
I feel that. I feel that. You know.
I
At
do
the
too.
End of the day, it's a try and fight for everybody. The way you're sitting, the way you're feeling right now is how I feel inside, but it just comes out a little stronger. The way you feeling is the way he's feeling inside, but what's coming out, you know what I'm saying, is just a little stronger. But he's crying inside as well. You know what I'm saying? So don't take, you know what I'm saying, the outright emotion that's being put out. You know what I'm saying? That's negative energy because it's just an open dialogue. You know what I'm saying? Where we're just conversing and we're just trying to understand each other because we're at this point now, like I said, in this world, we know something is terribly wrong. And the talk starts here with each other, you know? But I gotta go find me a body because I gotta piss. I'm living
And you, sir?
Brother Ali.
Brother Ali, A-L-I. And you live here in Seattle?
What's that?
I'm a fan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, even though you blocked me from your comments somehow, I don't know.
Well,
what you said.
again, I have like 12 moderators and
I
stuff, so
watch
it's
you
not
nightly.
me.
I watch you nightly on Facebook.
I've had several people go, so you know, I don't
know what I did.
I don't know.
But anyways, I just say I appreciate you being out here and
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate it.
I can't access my comments anymore.
Well, you could go to you can go to Twitch. You can go to we're on Twitch, so you can go to we're on Twitch, we're on Periscope, we're on YouTube. Yeah, we're on 4 channels. So. Oh, and yeah. So we're on Twitch. Yeah, we're on. It's saying it's all Malcontentment Tango.
Keep it up.
Okay, thank you. Wow.
I think she's live.
I haven't seen her. I haven't seen her. So I like need a minute. I was literally just gonna say like I need a minute. Sometimes the camera doesn't capture it. I mean, I think you could see it, but you're not here feeling it. I need a minute. There was so much pain. There was so much pain. And I could see it in everyone's faces, and I know everyone else was feeling it because I could see it in their faces. Both sides. So much pain. And we've seen thank you. I think today and what we've covered so far, it's like, I think it's going to be how you want to see it. I think, at least for now, I'm getting into closing thoughts and I'm not ready to go. And I think I'm just trying to do therapy on the air, self-therapy, and I'm going to shut up. And we're just going to go back up here. So, there's been a number of these conversations that we just filmed, and they have been, oh wow, Eagles are like super blocker music. Like, Don Henley is like a lunatic on this issue. Like total lunatic on this issue. And so if the Eagles are playing, Don Henley's music's playing. Don Henley has 60 people, 60, that he pays full time looking for DMCA takedowns to do. 60 people. He's insane. It's one of these things like, don't ever meet your idol, because I love Don Henley. I love the Eagles music. I love Don Henley's music. Building the Perfect Beast kept me sane for about 6 months back in the day. But that's an album. But holy crap. Like seriously, just that little snip of those guitar chords, forget like they'll make me mute it, they'll take the whole friggin' stream down. So anyway, that's why I've walked far, far away. So just peeps know, Eagle music, other streamers and stuff, Eagles music, like mute, walk away, because even if it's just playing in the background. What's really been amazing too, very early in the stream, I had one woman come up and confront me. And then there were like other people that came up and were defending, or at least like hear them out. But I've had people on both sides come, hey, I watch your streams, because I've had more than one person just come up today kind of like, well, you blocked me, but I still watch your streams. And I know it's like me, and it's like, well, we're a much bigger group than just me. Hey, yeah, I'm good. It's fun. This is. What's up, Tango? What's up? See, and what will happen is chuds like Katie will grab just this little clip and then go, see, he's pressed Tifa, right? She's not going to grab any of the conversations that we tried to have. She's not going to grab any of that, right? She'll just put this here.
It's showing.
I know he's a firefighter though.
How are you a firefighter?
What city are you a firefighter in?
This nigga's not from here. Nigga, what are you doing in my city?
What are you doing out here, bro? What are you doing? Go back to fucking Montana.
you piece of shit. You're not even fucking from here, bro.
What do you think, Renee? You think it's kind of winding down?
I think the cops might slip in eventually. I think it's probably winding down, but the cops might swoop in to clear the intersection.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Especially because buses are waiting, you know how they are. They hate bus drivers.
It'll be interesting to see about their new tactic.
Yeah.
I read the.
At least I didn't get any blast balls or pepper spray yet.
Read. We've employed new tactics and it's already working and yada yada.
Hey, look, people will adapt to those tactics in 2 days. It's gonna
Right.
Be...
My view I have seen some changes in tactics in the sense that they don't seem to be as trigger happy with the blast balls and with the flashbang grenades. That has definitely been a change from Carmen Bass to Chief Diaz. But they become a lot more aggressive in some other ways. They just kind of like traded one tactic for another. And the other thing he's saying, oh, well, there's less and less people. And I'm like, oh my God, Breonna Taylor, right? That's on his watch. There were, between Cal Anderson and Westlake, about 1,000 people. The 10-3, the ENDD, even Seattle Police was 300 people. Right. It's like ENDD never gets 300 people, right? I was really shocked at how many people were there. And then the 10-5 workout. You and I got the cardio workout on the 10-5. That was a big group.
Oh, yeah.
And then Black Indigenous March last night's the biggest group I've seen.
Yeah.
What, 2 months? That's probably the biggest group of people I've seen in 2 months for Black Indigenous Coalition. So I'm not seeing the slowdown. I'm not seeing it. So Chief Diaz not seeing it.
Yeah, the Black Lives Matter movement is just getting started. I don't think
we're talking to Renee, by the way. Capital Gay News.
I don't think like the winter is going to slow down the Black Lives Matter movement at this point. There are a lot of dedicated individuals from all walks of life. When I talk to people out here, attorneys, people who flip burgers, and people who have 9-to-5 office jobs, doing important work. So,
right.
And they're all as committed as ever. So I think that this will be a long winter between the police and the protesters. And it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Well, especially in another 3.5-ish weeks, right?
Yeah.
That's when things potentially could get really interesting, or not. We'll see.
Yeah, I think the election will just bring out more protests of all kinds.
Of all kinds, exactly. Yeah. I know my calendar's cleared from 10-3 to 10-5, 11-3 to 11-5.
Yeah,
my calendar is totally clear.
Definitely.
So, and I know we'll be in studio on 11-3 tracking the election, and then just kind of depends right where it lands. I may go to bed for a few hours, or I might be like, all right, we're leaving the studio.
Yeah. Well, the Seattle Gay News already has a political issue coming up, and I have a feeling we'll have a post-election issue because I think a lot of things are going to happen between now and then.
Supervisor here. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, well, now we'll see. They're cool, but just the question is are they going to radio in and say,
when they want shit cleared, it gets cleared.
Yeah, exactly. That's the question.
Sure, move that one over here. You think is that a wrap?
I was just talking to Renee about that. Renee's like, will the police come in and clear the blocked intersection, or
will this become a new CHOP right here in Greenville?
I don't see.
There's a beautiful lawn.
I know. Yeah.
This would be much more sustainable than Cal Anderson, really.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Just send Paige a message. I'll do what I can.
Yeah, for sure. Most definitely. That is exactly how niggas just pull that shit out. He's coming that, bro. Yeah, belly, that was from the belly. I felt that. I respect it. You're right.
Hey, don't get in trouble now. But party night.
So now what's happened is basically, well, the auto club is here.
Access for Metro Transit to move through the area. You need to vacate the intersection. If you not vacate the intersection, you can be subject to arrest for pedestrian interference.
All right.
You're making moves.
Let's put on the helmet. Camera's going to be wiggling around. I'm going to put on the helmet.
Police Department, you're creating a public safety hazard. You're blocking traffic. You're denying access along the main arterial to emergency vehicles. You're obstructing the movement of Metro buses for transit purposes.
Gosh darn it.
Because of that, you are committing the crime of pedestrian interference. Refusal to cooperate is subject to arrest. We're ordering you to leave the intersection.
Hey, can you click on my camera? I'm gonna use this on Twitter about it.
Okay. Yeah. What's that? Well, I'm going to put my helmet on. Sorry about all the shaky camera malcontents. I'm just putting my helmet on.
You're obstructing transit, emergency vehicles, and the movement of traffic.
You're obstructing everybody behind you.
You're creating a hazard and public safety nuisance.
There we go.
We're ordering you to leave the intersection. Failure to do so could subject you to arrest for pedestrian interference.
I know, malcontents. There you go. I was putting on my helmet. Here come the bike cops. So SPD bicycle officers have moved in. Estimate about 15 bike officers. No, wait a minute, here comes the second group. About another 10. So I would actually now say that it's a...
We're ordering you to stay out of the intersection. We're moving up to clear the intersection of obstructions. Failure to comply with subject to arrest.
Police are coming up on the other side of the bus.
You're creating a public safety hazard. We're ordering you out of the intersection. We're ordering you out of the intersection to create a public safety hazard. If you re-enter the intersection, you'll be subject to arrest.
Out of the roadway. Quit your job. Quit your job. Quit your job.
Hey, which one of y'all was the cop that fell off the curb?
Yeah, that's bitch. Officer Willis is a bitch.
Basically, it's not a hill. It's not a hill worth, metaphorically speaking, dying on, right? It's
Okay.
that's the way. That's the way I put it.
Okay.
Quit your job.
I wasn't sure exactly what the rules were.
know y'all can't get up that hill.
Well, it's been an interesting day at the office, that is for sure. This has been a roller coaster today.
Alright, let's take it over again. I'm a freelance journalist. I work for about 30 outlets around the nation. A lot of radio, TV outlets as well. Some kind of business.
So basically, oh, they're just walking across the street. I think basically, things have basically, I think, have come to an end here. I really do. I think it's winding down. Oh no. I take it back. It looks like actually they're going to start blocking the I don't know. I don't know if they're blocking the intersection or if they're actually putting the construction barricades kind of back where they were. No, it looks like they're putting the barricades back where they were. So I guess this isn't over. Well, again, it's a little hard to see. The thing is, as I drove here earlier, and this road was kind of like this lane was partially blocked because there's construction all up and down, like for several blocks along this road here. And so it's not 100% clear to me if, no, now it is clear. All right, now it's clear. They're just blocking the intersection again. So an SPD will be back again. And so there you go. Bumpers! Oh my God, you're like, hello, you acknowledge me. Hello, yes, 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 you're like, oh yes, you can. I know, it's fine. We love the puppers on the MALCONTENTMENT TANGO. All right, here, 1 second. So what's probably, well, my guess is what will happen is SPD will be back in a few minutes, and you know, the cat and mouse game is on.
Like, he has nothing in common. Like, literally, I pulled out the fucking Wikipedia article. I read it really fast, and I just read the whole Oathkeeper's Wikipedia.
All right, there we go.
Fucking idiot!
Get out of the intersection.
We're not in the
intersection. Refusal to cooperate could result in your arrest.
Cooperate with yours! The fuck are you doing?
Safety hazard. Stay out of the intersection. You're committing a crime of death for interference. Refusal to cooperate could subject you to arrest.
Stop obstructing traffic! Those people can't turn around now!
And SPD is here again.
Wait.
Sorry, I am. There we go. There we go.
Keep sniffing,
He's actually taking my helmet off. So that's why the camera was all moving around. Like, okay. I didn't think they were going to show up this quick. I wanted to adjust a couple of things, but so much for that plan. Right now, I wish I had full cam.
That's fine. Man, we just on the shit better. Working on there. Officer Pork Chop. Officer Pork Chop, what are you doing over there?
Yeah, you know you're Officer Pork Chop. You know you're Officer Pork Chop. You really looked over here, you fucking idiot. You dumb piece of shit. Dude, that's embarrassing, bro.
Are you guys just gonna hang out right there now?
He knows he's Officer Pork Chop.
Literally.
Officer Sniffles went to the other side. Hey, hear you. Rush him up, boys.
Lieutenant Brooks definitely needs to speak up louder. I'll tell you that. All right, so what's going on? Now this is an interesting change. So what's going on is SPD is taking all the construction barriers.
Look at the cops committing crime.
Look at those sniffles! You want Nighthawk's Coke too?
Do the prim presenting officers also dick ride Nighthawk?
You want Nighthawk's Coke too? I see those jogs.
So they're literally taking.
Yeah, work harder, bitch. Work for that money. Work for that shit, you dumb bitch.
They're literally taking all of the construction equipment.
Pick up those goddamn cones, you fucking dumb bitch.
Pick that up, please. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Lazy motherfuckers don't want to carry anything.
Oh, but little did they know.
You guys are wasting our tax dollars by taking so long. Don't pinch your little fingers, Pork Chop.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
I don't want to see an injury report about today because you pinched your little fingers. Oh my God, we're gonna.
So what's happened is the protesters have been moving construction barriers into the road. SPD. This is definitely a new tactic, but what SPD has done is they've shown up in a pickup truck, and they are loading up the truck.
Any further attempts to obstruct the intersection will result in your arrest. You gonna do what?
Why are you obstructing the intersection? I can't hear you. Are you gonna blow into somebody's driveway and then try again? Because you're currently doing the thing you're telling us not to do. And that's pretty ass backwards.
Look how many people you're making turn around.
You guys literally have a 45 stops. I thought that was the reason you guys came and cleared the intersection.
This is way worse than when you came down. Really, you are just. We were gonna let the buses go, dude. You guys are really, you're fucking up the bus schedule too. S-Dot, Metro, everyone's gonna be pissed at you. Look at this haphazard ass shit.
That's
That's gonna fall in the fucking road if they slam on the brakes.
definitely a improperly secured load.
Are they gonna buy you a new vest?
No, they say peace up,
Quit doing that dope, Officer Sniffles! Wait, with my taxpayer dollars?
Yeah.
That's why I'm fucking your wife right off! Fat guy's last in line!
Lieutenant Brooks need to talk louder. I will say that. This has been a here. I gotta. I'm gonna point the phone down for a minute. It's got nothing to do. Because I'm just setting up my microphone. I'm just clipping in my microphone again.
And patience.
So that's all I'm doing here. It's got nothing to do.
I love how you like say something.
There we go. Oh, wait a minute. So There we go. Oh wow, it's been a long freaking day. I thought I'd be wrapped up by now. So the reality is SPD cleared all of the construction barriers and signs and stuff that were at this intersection. They loaded it up in the back of a pickup truck. You know, it was definitely, they're not adhering, it certainly was not adhering to Washington state law about secured loads in the back of a pickup truck. Beyond that nitpick, the reality is there are construction barriers and just around here for blocks because like almost the entire city is under construction. And what will probably happen, they'll probably block the intersection again, is my guess. We'll give it a few minutes. I honestly thought my day would be over about an hour ago, so I just looked at the time and it's like, that's why I'm hungry. What's that? No, I'm good. Thank you so much. I don't have a hand. Oh, for the love of... Fixed. Lower thirds fixed, or top thirds, whatever, fixed. So I'm thinking actually, I'm gonna give it, what's time? I'm literally gonna give it like one more minute and then I'm gonna start my wrap up conversation. It's been an interesting day, that is for sure. There is now just a very small group. Why aren't you showing them? There you go. There's a very small group, 25, 30 people at the most. 25, 20. That's probably even being generous. No, I have about 25.
I don't think anybody got over.
Right, there's nothing going on at this point. There's a couple more people across, literally a couple more people across the street. There's literally maybe 3 or 4 people behind me, so maybe 30 people tops. And there we go. So we're gonna go ahead and start doing the closeout here. I'm gonna go ahead and flip the camera around. And I appreciate everybody for sticking around through secret films and meeting like camera shaking and yeah, there we go. All right, it's been a roller coaster of a day. It's really been a roller coaster of a day. There's been a lot of emotion. I love the dialogue. I love when they're see, this is why I don't have poll cam, and I put a post up earlier about, hey, if anybody has because I didn't have a key part to attach the to do triple cam, so I've been old school. I've been kicking it like early day chops in June of trying to hold 3 cameras at the same time. So only had the helmet on because SPD showed up. SPD's left. I haven't had the helmet on for almost all of it. There is so much to unpack from this stream today, and there's so much to unpack from this stream. You know, let me summarize. We started here because there were 3 protests that we knew of that were going to be happening kind of roughly all at the same time. There was this Support the Police anti-defund rally, of which I would say about 75 people showed up at. So it's much smaller than the previous 2 rallies that were had. We had both organizers on camera. Both organizers. We have both organizers on camera at different points. We have, sorry about that, my hand's just cramping up and I'm moving hand. Actually, let me do this. We had both organizers on at different points. Oh, that's so much better. We also had another individual that was talking, and there was this great conversation between her and one of the organizers of the other event. Both of them have agreed to come on the Tango. And I have all their information, and we're going to get them together. And I know, like, both of them are like, what's your agenda? It's like nothing. It's let you two have a conversation in an environment where you don't have a combined 100 people around you trying to, you know, yelling at each other, and you can't even have the conversation. They were having a great conversation. I would love to give them a voice and at least demonstrate that dialogue between both sides is possible. There was a lot of conversations that we caught bits and pieces on where it was very, very clear that I've used this analogy many, many times. I think there's a lot of agreement on the symptoms. I think there's a lot of agreement on what the disease is. The challenge becomes, what is it's Lieutenant Brooks. I went to hold it up. Hello, Lieutenant Brooks. Lieutenant Brooks checking on the intersection. I'm actually going to walk because the walk sign is on, so it gives me a chance to cross the street here. And I think we need more of that dialogue. And unfortunately, what would happen was, like, there was this one moment where there was somebody from the you know, like the police side, and somebody from the protester side, and no offense to the guy who was from the police side, who's a white guy, he's no M&M. It was diffused. It was negative. There was only a couple of moments. Lots of people seem to know who this chud is. Started agitating. Here's this moment where, like, everything's peaceful, and it's not agitate everybody because, oh no, they're actually, the two sides are actually on agreeing on some things. That's not good optics, which is frustrating to see. There are some really emotional conversations going on. It's like there's so much to unpack. And anyway, there's really nothing going on at this point. As I said, there's 30 people. There's just like, bro, enough. And I could see some people that I saw that were with the other side of the group, they're walking away. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. It was greatly appreciated. And I guess at this point, I'm just going to